Hey there, my darlings! How are you? I hope that you are doing amazing. It's DarlingDTarot bringing you another pick-a-card reading. So for today, we are going to be getting right into this and asking the question, what makes you beautiful? So not only will we be covering what makes you beautiful as a person, what makes you unique and lovely, but also what people kind of notice right off the bat as soon as they meet you, what they really admire about you, what your friends and family members really admire about you as well. We'll just be covering all of it. We'll also be covering what qualities, traits, and characteristics make you beautiful that you wouldn't even necessarily find beautiful in yourself, or you wouldn't even notice, right? Maybe you'd even be like, why do people find that beautiful about me, right? So without any further ado, we have 5 beautiful piles here in front of us. Stack 1, stack 2, stack 3, stack 4, and stack 5. Now you can choose based off of the energy of the pile, the number of the pile, the items associated with each stack. Today I decided to do candies, color cards, and some crystals. So I like to just kind of paint on some playing cards, and I feel like that's a really wonderful way to get a more in-depth feeling of maybe what people would find beautiful about you or your overall energy field. So go ahead and you can choose just one or all of them. If you feel drawn to all of them, definitely go ahead and listen. There might be a specific message in there just for you. So for stack 1, we have this beautiful clear quartz with the red peppermint. For stack 2, we have the opalite with the orange peppermint. For stack 3, we have the tiger's eye with the green peppermint, which is probably like spearmint. Do you guys like spearmint or peppermint more? Let me know. For stack 4, we have the red rose quartz with the, it's kind of like a purple peppermint, but you can't really see it on the camera all that well. And for stack 5, we have this beautiful yellow citrine with a yellow peppermint. So I will give you a few seconds to choose, but first let's take a deep breath in. Let's hold it. And release. And with that, I will see you at your pile. Bye! Hello to everyone who chose stack 1. Let's get right into your reading and see what makes you beautiful and what do people really love about you. So right off the bat, I love that you chose the red and white peppermint. I feel like you are someone who is very traditional. Maybe you're someone who is very close to your heritage or your roots. Maybe some of you that picked this pile are bilingual as well. I feel like you're very logical. You're someone who can absorb information very quickly, very much an intellectual, if you will. You're very well read, very well educated. I feel like people very much gravitate towards you as well because you can have very deep conversations. You're not someone who's just going to have surface level conversations. You're going to get very deep. Even if you just meet someone, you're going to be like, oh, hi, Diane, what's the meaning of life? And I feel like people really love that about you. The fact that you are someone who is willing to maybe even be vulnerable with people that you just meet as well. You're just someone who is very easygoing and very open. Also, with this clear quartz, it makes me think that maybe your body language is very open as well, because clear quartz, you know, you can see right through it. It's very transparent. What you see is what you get. And I feel like it's the same energy with you as well. Those of you that pick this stack, you might be very honest, very forthcoming, sometimes maybe even a little honest brutally, but I feel like people also really love that about you. Maybe you can be a little bit spicy or a little bit fiery, since this is a traditional peppermint and peppermints can be very spicy. I also want to comment on the fact that with this color card, it's blue and red. So it talks about a duality there, a duality of divine masculine and divine feminine kind of coming together beautifully. And also it reminds me of 3 candy glasses, which is kind of talking about someone who is larger than life, who is vivacious, who is popping out at you, right? Maybe you're someone who likes to be the center of a conversation, and that's not to say that you're someone who's just like, oh yes, look at me, smell me. Like, no, you're someone who just is very easy at guiding the conversation into calmer waters. You're good at being a mediator. I feel like you're also someone who, if there is a little bit of dead air in the conversation, you're going to pick it up immediately. You'd be a really good radio broadcaster person, or maybe even a YouTuber. I just feel like you have a really good way with words, or a podcaster. There we go. So let's get into your cards. So right off the bat, your first card is your Animal Druid Oracle card, and this is talking about your overall energy and what people find most beautiful about you. Woohoo! So we have Swan. That's a beautiful card to start off with because it talks about someone who is incredibly balanced. Again, we have that duality again, but I feel like those of you that picked this stack, you had a glow up. There was a transformation here, right? And it was incredible because when we see this swan over here, it's just a little baby. You know, this is just a little tiny swanling, I guess we could call it. What's the baby version of a swan? Like a duckling, a swanling. And, you know, he's just starting to fledge, just starting to come into his own, and then we have it where it starts to fully get its feathers in and can take off into flight with the rest of its family. And I feel like that was your energy. Maybe some of you that picked this stack suffered with anxieties or depressions for a long time, and you're really starting to harness your own inner beauty in a way that overpowers all of the anxieties that are coming your way. And I feel like that's something that people really appreciate about you, is the fact that you can uplift others, but at the same time, you're really good at uplifting yourself. You're good at taking care of yourself as well. I feel like you're someone who is very self-reliant, very independent at the same time, very adventurous. But again, there was definitely a transformation or a metamorphosis here. It could have even been that through these hard times, through these trials and tribulations, that's what really helped you to step into your inner power. And that's what helped you to harness your knowledge, and maybe even your crafts that much better. Maybe you're someone who pursues certain creative hobbies or creative endeavors, and maybe during these kind of tough positions during your life, that was a wonderful time where you could really harness that skill a little bit more. But regardless, it also talks about that duality again. Divine masculine and divine feminine coming together so beautifully so that you can make very well-educated decisions. Now, at the same time, with that divine masculine energy, you're going to be someone who is very dedicated, very forthcoming, logical, just a go-getter, eye on the prize, if you will. Maybe even a little bit brass at times, or a little bit just kind of brutish. But with the divine feminine, it's a lot softer, it's a lot gentler, nurturing, compassionate, understanding, generous, but also very spiritual, very intuitive, very much in charge of your emotions and in tune with them as well. So it's going to be a very beautiful mix of the two. Maybe even in situations, you're someone who can very easily switch out of your divine masculine and step into your divine feminine, or vice versa. Maybe you're someone who can alternate energies at will, and that's something that people really appreciate about you as well. Maybe even in partnerships, that you're someone who, you don't mind being the big spoon sometimes. Like, you could be the little spoon, the big spoon, whatever. I feel like as long as you're being cuddled, you don't mind. You're someone who is very much adapting to any circumstance or any situation that life throws at you, and that's another thing that people find very beautiful about you. Also, with the moon in the background, it very much makes me think about that spiritual side. I feel like you guys are very spiritually inclined. Maybe you work with divinatory tools such as tarot cards, tea leaves, oracle cards, etc. Maybe even pendulums for some of you. But regardless, I feel like people really appreciate that. I feel like they come to you for wisdom, for advice. Maybe some of you are actually teachers. Some of you might even be tutors. Maybe you're deciding if you want to be that. I feel like you're just going to be stepping into a lot of recognition if you have not already. And I feel like you just kind of have this air to you that you already have a lot of recognition, that you've gained all of these successes. Maybe you just present yourself in such a beautiful way. You really take care of yourself very nicely. You always smell good. You always look very nice. I feel like people would just kind of rate you 10 out of 10, not gonna lie. So with the blue border as well, I feel like you're someone who is very in tune with your emotions as well. I feel like you're someone who is very sensitive and sentimental, even if you don't show that all the time. So going on to your next three cards, these are your animal messages cards, and these are talking about characteristics, qualities, and traits that make you beautiful. So we have chimpanzee, platypus, and humpback whale. Woohoo! So right off the bat, oh my goodness, chimpanzee is talking about exactly what we were saying in Swan about that duality between divine masculine and divine feminine, and also stepping into your inner power and trusting yourself, right? It says use both your intuition and your intellect to solve the problem or get answers to your question. And how beautiful is that? So I feel like some of you, you definitely rely on not only your gut feeling, on your intellect, on your street smarts, but also your intuition. You're someone who has a lot of common sense to you too. I feel like you're someone who likes to play it safe. It's better safe than sorry is maybe something that you like to tell people. And that's something that people really appreciate about you, is that every risk that you take, I feel, is very calculated. It's something that you have planned, and not calculated in a bad way, because when we hear the term calculated, it's immediately like the scary villain music, and it's like, but it's definitely not that energy at all, right? I feel like you guys just like to be prepared. You're very resourceful at the same time. Also, I feel like some of you might have Gemini in your chart too, as well, since we're talking about dualities so much, and I keep thinking about the twins. I just kind of wanted to put it out there. You're also a really great conversationalist, so I feel like an air sign energy is kind of being drawn in here. But regardless, with this energy too, notice how we have the yellow border with the green on the inside. It's definitely talking about you guys are very bubbly, very fun-loving, and very sweet, very childlike, pure, innocent, kind. I feel like you're someone who likes to look at the world with rose-colored glasses, or just likes to look at the world as what you have as opposed to what you lack. And that's something that really inspires a lot of other people as well. That's something that makes you very beautiful. Now, something that I want to talk about with humpback whale and platypus is the fact that we have a lot of blues and purples and greens. I love that we have so many greens here, because again, it's talking about that very stable energy, very down to earth, very humble. I feel like you're someone who isn't going to just flex on people to flex on them. I feel like you're someone who definitely takes other people's feelings into account. You're someone who is going to maybe even not show off your newest things if you know that your friends or family members are going through a really hard time. I feel like you're someone as well who is very generous. Maybe you're someone who is very open to the idea of helping out, of volunteering, of maybe even donating to local charities, and that's something that also makes you beautiful. I just kind of wanted to throw that out there. Now, also, with the blue energy, again, it's talking about your emotions, being open to expressing your feelings, and also understanding other people's feelings as well. I feel like you're empaths that chose this pile. I feel like you don't even have to hear someone say that they're sad. You just kind of know. It's an intuitive knowing and understanding that someone is sad, that someone isn't feeling right. You can pick up on it very, very easily, and I feel like you're someone who is always going to ask, oh, hey, Debbie, what's wrong, right? You're always going to reach out that hand and ask how you can help, and that's something that makes you incredibly beautiful. Now, also with platypus, stop complaining and focus your attention on the blessings in your life. This is talking about the fact that you're someone who has a lot of gratitude. You're thankful for everything that you have in your life, every second that you have as well. Maybe some of you as well suffer from chronic illness, and that's why you really appreciate each day that is given to you. But for the most part, I feel like with this energy too, you really extend that to others, and you really say, was it a bad day in general, or was it a bad day in regards to the past 15 minutes? Was it a bad 20 minutes, or was it a bad 2 days? I feel like you really put it into perspective for a lot of people, and in a way that isn't demeaning or like you're belittling their emotions or their feelings. I feel like you make everyone feel very validated and very appreciated, very comforted, and very wanted. And how beautiful is that, right? Also, with the yellow energy, I do want to talk about the fact that you are someone who stands in your own authenticity. I feel like you're very genuine to yourself. Again, it's very much that what you see is what you get sort of an energy. Now, also with humpback whale, it says music is essential to your healing and well-being, whether singing, playing an instrument, or listening. Ooh, some of you might be singers, some of you might be musicians, or you might just listen to some really, really good music. You might have some really good playlists. You might even like making playlists for the people that you love, maybe your friends, your family members. Regardless, I feel like you're someone who just has really good musical taste. Some of you might also very much excel at what, like violin, mandolin, glockenspiel, I don't know, glockenspiel it up, baby, right? But you're definitely very talented, you're very creative, and that's something that people really love about you. I feel like you're someone who glides into your passions very easily, or at least that's how it looks. It looks very effortless on your part. Even if you're putting in a lot of work every single day, people just kind of look at you and they're like, Samantha got that so easy, that promotion at work. And it's like, if they could see all behind the scenes what you're doing, you know, how much you're overworking yourself, then they would understand just why you got promoted in that span of time, right? I feel like some of you work incredibly hard. You might stress yourself out very easily too, but it doesn't come off to the general public that way. I feel like people perceive you as someone who is very calm, who is very kind of go with the flow as well. And that's something that people find very beautiful about you, is that you're not overly stressed, or that you're not complaining, basically, to put it very plainly and clearly. Now, also with the purple around the borders too, this is talking about someone who is very intuitive and very spiritually based, and that's something people can pick up on when they meet you. Now, going forward on to your next two cards, these are your Animal Totem Tarot cards, and these are talking about overall energies you have that make you beautiful. So we have the Justice card and the Magician. Okay, so I love that we have another bird energy here. Again, someone who is incredibly resilient, someone who perseveres, someone who pushes through even during the toughest of times, right? Notice how both of these are very cold weather. Some of you might live in regions that get colder weather. It could also be maybe some of you live out here in Colorado with me. Hey, but regardless, maybe you've been through a lot of kind of tough times in your life, or you've had a lot of dark nights of the soul, and that's something that you've really had to overcome and had to power through. It was really hard, but you did it, right? And I'm so proud of you. Oh my goodness. Now also with this energy of the infinity symbol over the Magician's head, this is very much talking about unconditional love and the fact that you found unconditional love in yourself, so you're able to extend that to other people, and that's something people really find beautiful about you. Now also, I feel like you're someone who is a master manifester. You're someone, again, who can very easily bring things that they attract into their life just based off of their affirmations. Maybe you're someone who literally uses candle magic. Maybe you're someone who works with affirmations, but I definitely feel like you're harnessing the law of attraction, regardless of if that is knowingly or unknowingly, but that's how you're bringing in so many blessings so fast. And it's also because of the fact that you're so positive and you stay uplifted, that's what's bringing these blessings into your life. And as you're raising your life force, as you're raising your positivity, that's what's going to bring more of these blessings into your life as well. And I feel like when people see you getting these blessings and these opportunities, they think that it came out of nowhere. And I know I was touching on that a little bit like a minute ago, but again, with this energy, see how there's this storm, and then out of nowhere, this fox is just playing in it. This fox is having a good time. So it's almost like maybe even if someone tried to throw a curveball your way, you're just kind of like, swerve, I'm gonna handle it in a great way, and you have a great time doing it. But there's definitely this energy of you always looking at the silver lining, looking at the bright side, and finding the best opportunity out of the situation, and then making your way up to higher ground is what I keep hearing. Also, what I want to say with this Magician card too is that you are someone who is actively bringing new blessings into your life too. You're actively going towards your abundances, towards your successes, towards your goals, your dreams, your aspirations. And I feel like that's something that people also really admire about you, is the fact that you are actively going towards these goals and achieving them. You know, there's nothing that's holding you back, sort of like that Shawn Mendes energy, right? There's nothing holding me back. Now, also with the Justice card, this is talking about someone who's incredibly balanced, who is very much in their equilibrium, who is very much able to stand on their own 2 feet, even in the toughest of situations. Again, you're someone who is very independent, you're very reliable, very dependable as well, very self-reliant. I feel like you're someone who doesn't need other people to survive or to live. I feel like other people are just kind of an added bonus in your life, and that's something that people find very beautiful about you, stack one. Also, notice how the Magician is number 1 too, so it's definitely talking about the fact that you are literally number 1. Maybe growing up you had a lot of trophies, maybe you were someone who participated in a lot of sports, or maybe even in a lot of I was gonna say musicals. Hey, maybe some of you had award-winning musicals. Maybe some of you just kind of traveled for choir, or decided to do
do maybe even talent shows and you always won first place. Regardless, people really love that about you. There's also a kind of competitive energy here, and that's something also that makes you very, very beautiful. So going forward onto your next card, this is your Secrets of the Mystic Grove card, and this is talking about your overall energy, what people really love about you. Okay, so wow, so that's why we had so much winter imagery. Number 11, solitude. Oh, and look, we have little snowflakes here. So there's definitely this energy of rumination, of going within yourself, of meditating, reflecting. Maybe you're someone who doesn't reply for a while. Maybe you're someone who likes to kind of ghost people. I don't think that you do it knowingly. I feel like you're just someone who maybe gets preoccupied and you have to go off and do a whole bunch of different things. But I feel like people really appreciate the fact that you always end up getting around to replying to people. It's not like you'll never talk to them ever again, like, oh, okay, I guess I'll never hear from Linda ever in my lifetime. It's not that energy. I feel like you always get around to people. It's just going to be a little bit late because your mind is preoccupied. There's a lot on your plate. I feel like you take on a lot of responsibilities and maybe even shoulder a lot of other people's burdens as well. And maybe that's why maybe you were breaking out of codependencies, breaking out of the need to take on other people's burdens and other people's responsibilities. And that's why we have such an independent energy here. Notice all of these animals, are all by themselves. In this animal totem deck, there's actually a few animals that have families, that have friends as well. And I love how we have two of the most kind of solitary cards in this deck. So I feel like that's something that makes you very beautiful as well, as that you're a goal-getter and that you don't need a whole bunch of people to make you happy. You don't need to find happiness outside of yourself, and you don't need to find worth outside of yourself either. Now also with the number 11, I feel like again you're someone who is very spiritual, but you're also very balanced. We have justice, which is literally talking about being balanced, being very fair, being very understanding, being able to look at both sides of a coin as well. Maybe even being a mediator. But also with the number 11 being the number 2, it also talks about the fact that you are someone who is balanced in that duality as well. You can make really good decisions. You have a very good head on your shoulder, regardless of how much is kind of weighing down your thoughts every night. So also with the moon imagery, again, you're someone who's very spiritual. You're very intuitive. Also, what you receive intuitively is very accurate. So remember that. People find that very beautiful as well when you share all of your experiences. Maybe you're someone who has had a lot of paranormal experiences or just a lot of very interesting experiences in general. People really love when you open up to them, probably because you are a little bit reclusive, because you like to kind of stick to yourself, and that's a very beautiful energy to be in. It's wonderful to honor yourself, right? But it says solitude, rest, ponder, quiet, and sanctuary. So I feel like you're a sanctuary to a lot of people. You feel very comforting. You feel comfortable. People want to live with you. People want to maybe even just kind of hoard you away so that they can have your attention. Maybe again, remember how I was talking about that you're someone who doesn't need to look outside of yourself for worth or for love or for happiness. Maybe other people kind of come to you then with that sort of a need, with this, well, I need to fill this void or I need to fill this hole. And you teach people how to live in their solitude. You teach people how to be by themselves, how to be in the quiet, how to ponder, how to rest, how to take care of themselves, how to be self-sufficient. I feel like that's also a reason why you might come into certain people's lives. Maybe there's certain relationships that you've been in that have ended very fast and you've wondered, well, what was the point of that? What the heck, But I think it was because you needed to teach them a lesson. I know that's totally random, but that's something that makes you very beautiful. And I feel like if you are someone who has had that sort of experience, I feel like your exes are very grateful now, or maybe even in the distant future, for the fact that you taught them how to be alone. You taught them how to be independent. You taught them how to maybe even fold their own socks. Maybe they didn't know how to fold their socks and you were always like, Jerry, you gotta put your socks together. I'm not gonna do it with the unmatching socks every single day, Jerry. Come on. And now Jerry's gonna thank you because now he knows how to put his socks together. Thank goodness. Oh my gosh. We came from the bottom, now we worked all the way up to the top, now we can fold our socks. We got this, boy. regardless, I feel like you are someone who is incredibly peaceful and just absolutely brilliant to be around, right? So going on to your next 4 cards, these are your Ethereal Visions Tarot cards, and these are talking about what else makes you beautiful. So we have the 6 of Pentacles, the 9 of Wands, the King of Swords, and the Hanged Man. Woohoo! So right off the bat, this is definitely everything we were kind of talking about up until now. With the 6 of Pentacles, this is generosity, giving without expectations of what you're going to get back, giving someone the shirt off of your back without even expectations of being paid or when you're going to get your shirt back. You know, just being like, okay, I don't even need it, I have more at home. You're just kind to be kind, and how beautiful is that? There's nothing more beautiful than that, than helping another person in need, or just someone who needs maybe even comfort. I feel like you're a really wonderful shoulder to cry on. You're always there for your friends and family, and that's something that's very beautiful about you. Now also with the 9 of Wands, you're someone who very much perseveres. You're someone who is able to keep going forward even when the going gets tough. You're very much in that sort of shark energy as well, where you just keep moving forward. You keep moving forward, and that's the sort of universal constant that you have in your life is, well, I'm just going to keep picking myself up, dusting myself off, and continue moving forward. And that's what's something that people really, really admire about you. Even if you kind of stumble over your words, even if you trip over yourself, you're going to keep moving forward. Now also with the King of Swords, again, you're a very good conversationalist. I feel like those of you that pick this stack, you're someone who is very good at expressing your mind, expressing your thoughts to people. Maybe you struggle a little bit with the people that you love or the people that are very close to you, but for the most part, you can kind of come off a little bit stoic, or maybe even that you don't have time for people, not gonna lie, but that's something that makes you very beautiful and very attractive as well. Regardless of male or female, I feel like this is something that makes you very, very attractive to a lot of people, is the fact that you need your self-care time. You need that time alone. You really value yourself, and that really sets the tone to how other people are going to value you too. Now with the King of Swords, maybe people are a little bit intimidated by you. Maybe you're someone who comes off as a little bit serious, again, or maybe even a little bit stoic or a little bit aloof. Maybe you also come off with this energy of, yeah, sure, you can come into my life, Tim, but one wrong move and your ass is grass and I'm a lawnmower, right? So I feel like it's that sort of an energy. But regardless, with the Hanged Man, this is also talking about that meditation. Again, you need time for yourself. You need to think things through. This is calculating your options, you know, and weighing your options as well before you dive right into something. This isn't just kind of throwing caution to the wind and deciding to move to Timbuktu tomorrow, right? This is actually thinking things through. This is looking at the house rates. This is deciding where you're going to work in Timbuktu. Like, this is actually planning all of it instead of just kind of diving right in. And that's something that people really love about you. People also really appreciate the fact that you are very resourceful, that you are someone who also is very resourceful when it comes to other people too. I feel like you're a problem solver, not gonna lie. So going on to your next 4 cards, these are your Crow Tarot cards, and these are talking about what your friends and family find very beautiful about you. So we have the Ace of Wands, the Strength card, the Queen of Cups, and the Queen of Swords. Beautiful. So right off the bat with all of the court cards, it definitely makes me think of the fact that you're someone who handles change very graciously, but you also have that duality about you. The Queen of Cups, she's very much in her feelings, she's in her emotions, she's intuitive, she's spiritual, but she's someone who is also very empathetic. But the Queen of Swords, on the other hand, you know, she can very much be all centered on herself. You know, she's someone who is a very good conversationalist, she's very intellectual, she's very much poignant as well. She's brave, she's courageous, but at the same time she can come off a little bit sharp. She can come off a little bit rude or a little bit uninterested to people. And that's not a bad thing, but I just feel like you have your mind on other things. You have your mind set elsewhere, and people really find that attractive about you. Again, they find it to be something beautiful as opposed to something bad. Because some of you that watch this pile, maybe you're like, oh my gosh, I don't want to come off like that to people. But I feel like it's a really good thing because you're setting boundaries for people, because you're saying, okay, I can spend X amount of time with you, but after that, I have to make some time for myself. I can't just be focusing on you all day. I need to focus on me. And how beautiful is that? Now, also with the Strength card, you're also someone who is very vulnerable, or allows yourself to be vulnerable with your friends and family members. Also, something that I want to say with your friends and family members that they find very beautiful about you is that you can be very caring, you can be very comforting, and someone who can be a very good shoulder to cry on, but I feel like you're also someone who will stick up for your friends and family members. You're not going to shy away if a situation arises that needs to be taken care of. You know, I feel like if you had a younger sibling or a niece or nephew and you found out that they were being bullied, I feel like you would take it matters into your own hands, find these bullied children and be like, hey, you're not going to do that anymore. Let me tell you what, right? And that's just your energy. It's because you're so protective. You're someone who just wants to make sure that everyone's safe, that everyone is cared for. And you want to make sure that everyone's happy first and foremost. And that's something that your family really appreciates about you. Sometimes maybe it's even a little bit of a joke, like, oh, don't tell blah, blah, blah that because they'll go and take care of it, or they'll say something to them, right? But I feel like that's something that's also very appreciated about you. Now, also with the Ace of Wands, your family and friends see you as someone who is a go-getter, very adventurous, very excitable, very fun-loving, very passionate as well. Oh my goodness. I would say that you're honestly an incredible partner too, because of the fact that you remain very independent, but you're also very loving and nurturing when the time calls for it. I feel like you're someone who's very affectionate too. You might not be affectionate to everyone, but I feel like the select few that have gained your trust and have gained your respect, you're really affectionate towards. You might be very cuddly, you might be someone who likes to give a lot of hugs, but regardless, I feel like your friends and family members find the fact that you're someone who pushes forward and perseveres so beautiful. With the feathers, it makes me think that you are on your friends and family's mind all day because of your wisdom and because of the fact that maybe you have given them advice in the past that has really helped them. So they like to really stop and think about you. They like to maybe even pray for you. Maybe you have a lot of friends and family members that are actively keeping you in their law of attraction, that are actively keeping you in their well wishes as well. You know, maybe hoping that you gain a lot of abundance in your life. I feel like you have a lot of well wishers, to be completely honest, because of the fact that you're so loving and nurturing. So going forward, these are going to be your Yule More tarot cards, and these are going to be talking about what's beautiful about you that you might not necessarily find beautiful or expect to be beautiful. So we have the Four of Cups. Okay, so that kind of goes back into the Queen of Swords energy. We also have the Six of Swords, the Queen of Pentacles, and the I was gonna say the Queen of Priestesses, which maybe you are. Maybe you're literally like the Queen of Priestesses. You're just highly intuitive. You're just someone who instantly knows the truth. You're someone who is very balanced. Again, when we see the High Priestess, we see the two pillars that are next to her that represent, you know, kind of that equilibrium, being able to be balanced, but also the intellect, the knowledge, being a little bit aloof, being a little bit withdrawn or mysterious. Maybe you're someone, again, who comes off a little bit stoic, or maybe you just come off like you don't want to know people, or you don't have time for people, like, yes, peasant, I have better things to do than associate myself with the likes of you. But people really love that. And again, it doesn't come off rude. I think it just comes off as very interesting. Like, people want to be able to gain your attention. It's almost like reverse psychology of when you ignore people, it's almost like they come in full force and say, hey Miranda, but can we hang out tomorrow? Can we go out for milkshakes? Can we do something? You know, I feel like it's just this energy of, yeah, sure, whatever, Deanne. Yeah, okay, whatever. And that makes people go wild, right? I feel like people really love the fact that you're paying attention to yourself. Also, if a situation doesn't exactly pan out, whether that be romantic, platonic, career-based, family-based, I feel like you're someone who just picks up your stuff and you go on forward. Just keep pushing on, keep keeping on, keep moving forward, right? Again, kind of like that shark energy. I love how it all kind of comes back together, right? Now, also with the Six of Swords, this is talking about keeping all of the wisdom that comes with the tough situations, but leaving the rest behind, leaving behind all the baggage, all of the negative emotions, the negative feelings, letting go of any grudges, and just focusing on yourself. Maybe you're someone who also transmutates any sort of anger, any sort of despair, worry, or fears into money. You know, I feel like you literally turn it into abundance, you turn it into happiness, you turn it into love. I feel like you just kind of transmutate it in a way that kind of betters your life. just going to be completely honest here, because when I see the Queen of Pentacles with the High Priestess, it's talking about harnessing your inner strength to make money, to make abundance. I keep hearing to make money moves, literally. You know, maybe you guys don't dance anymore. You literally just make money moves, right? But again, with the moon imagery in the background, some of you might also have Cancer in your chart, not gonna lie. Sun, moon, rising, maybe even Venus. And maybe that's why you're very sensitive or sentimental. Maybe for a long time, some of you were very much in your emotions and now you're more logical based, or maybe even with the Queen of Pentacles here, you know, you're very balanced, but you're more in that sort of mindset where it's like, well, I'm going to achieve my abundances. I'm going to achieve my success. I'm going to take care of myself. I'm going to nurture myself. And that's going to be that. People really love that about you. People really find that beautiful and find that very, very attractive, right? So going on to your last few cards, these are your Enchanted Tarot cards, and these are talking about closing messages about what makes you beautiful. So we have the Four of Pentacles. Love that we're starting off strong with 2 4s here. So 4s are talking about stability, kind of reflecting, taking mental inventory, mental stock about where we are and where it is that we want to be going forward, laying a firm foundation in the ground. We also have the Hermit. Again, a very independent, strong-willed energy. The King of Wands, the Wheel of Fortune, and the Five of Pentacles. Okay, so there we go. So with the Five of Pentacles, you've definitely been through it. You've been through times where maybe you yourself have been ghosted, you've been shut out in the cold, but I feel like you just kind of closed the chapter to that story. You've closed the book entirely, and you kept moving on. You moved on to maybe a whole new book, you know, in your library. But regardless, with the Wheel of Fortune, this is closing out chapters and cycles that no longer serve you, cutting out people that no longer serve you as well, because you know your self-worth now. You're not going to settle for less, and that's something that people find very beautiful about you. Now, also in the Five of Pentacles, I love in this deck that it kind of looks like this man is leading this woman out of the cold, and that's something that's so different compared to the majority of tarot decks, where it's like one person trailing behind, struggling to catch up with the person in front of them while they're looking into the church. And I feel like maybe this is your energy, that you guide people into the warmth, you guide people into this energy of you can stand up for yourself, you can take care of yourself, you can be happy, you don't have to have all these worldly items, or you don't have to have this or that to be happy. There doesn't have to be this set time frame of happiness either. Maybe that's something that you really instill in people. You know, I feel like you really are someone who impresses a lot of lessons on others. Now, going forward with the Four of Pentacles, this is a card about holding on to things. I feel like you're very good at saving money, and that's something that makes you very beautiful. For some of you, maybe you like to say, I'm not frugal, I'm just a smart shopper. I know my grandfather loves to say that, and I have gained a lot of those thrifty ways too, not gonna lie. I definitely resonate with this pile. So with the Four of Pentacles, it doesn't just have to be talking about holding on to baggage, holding on to emotional pursuits, or holding on to maybe even ex-lovers. It could just literally be talking about holding on to money. Maybe you're really good at holding on to your abundances. Maybe you're saving up for a house. Maybe you're saving up for a brand new car. You're saving up for something. Or maybe you just give the appearance that you have a lot of money in the bank to people, and that's something that people find very beautiful about you. Now, we also have the Hermit, which is the number 9. So again, it's talking about spirituality, talking about independence, being happy by yourself and seeing others as sort of an addition in your life. And that is also going into the King of Wands energy. I feel like you're someone who lights your own path. You light your own way. You know that you are the creator of your own destiny. And that's something that kind of intimidates a lot of other people because you're so strong-willed. And I feel like it's also because you break gender roles. You break gender expectations, or even just expectations in general, of who you should be or what you should be doing. And I feel like you just kind of march to the beat of your own drum, and that's something that is so beautiful, Stack One. You know, keep following your pursuits, keep following your happiness and your passions as well. I feel like that's something that you could definitely make your own career out of. Maybe you are your own boss, or maybe you have plans of becoming your own boss. Maybe you're an entrepreneur. Anyway, definitely let me know if this resonated in the comments down below, Stack One. Thank you so much for watching this. I hope that you're doing incredible. Oh my goodness, you're someone who is just absolutely beautiful on the inside and out. about, but definitely because of the fact that you are someone who is so independent and you can stand on your own 2 feet. So definitely let me know in the comments down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed this, and also hit subscribe if you have not already, and hit that bell icon if you want to be notified every time that I upload a brand new reading. Also, I will leave all of my links in the description box down below if you would like a personal reading, or want to view any of the crafts that I make, or so on and so forth. I will also leave all of the names to all of the tarot decks that I used here in the description down below too. I hope that you guys are staying in good health, doing amazing, and I will see you in the next reading. Bye! Hello to everyone who chose Stack 2. Let's get right into your reading and see what makes you beautiful and what people find attractive about you. So going forward, I love that you chose the orange peppermint with the orange and green color card. I feel like you are someone who is very authentic, very genuine and unique. Maybe some of you are even indigo children as well, because I feel like you very much march to the beat of your own drum. I feel like you do things in a way that makes sense to you. It doesn't have to make sense to anyone else, and that's something that makes you very beautiful, is the fact that you set yourself apart from others. I feel like you don't hold yourself to really high expectations as well of what life should be. I feel like you just allow yourself to have a good time. You just allow yourself to go with the flow and enjoy life as it comes. And how beautiful is that? I also want to say that even though you're very honest and upfront with people too with this opalite, do you see how at different areas, you know, if the light hits it just so, there's all kinds of beautiful different colors? That's very much your energy, that even if people know you for a long time, I feel like there's still things that they're learning about you that they find very beautiful, that they kind of love as well. It's kind of like that cheesy quote where it's like, every day I find new things to love about you. And I feel like it's that sort of an energy when people think about you, or when people kind of have you on their mind. Sorry, I just had a rogue hair fly over here. My hairs are just kind of everywhere. I have really long hair and it sheds. Maybe you guys have that same problem. Maybe you guys have long hair as well. Take it as it resonates. Regardless, I feel like you are definitely kind of like a gusher, right? Where it's like a kind of tough exterior on the outside, but then when you break through, you're all gushy and you're sweet and you're mushy and you're warm. And that's very much your energy. I also feel like you're a beacon of hope to a lot of people. Maybe you're very health conscious as well. For some of you, you might be into exercising, into yoga, into CrossFit. Maybe some of you love to go hiking, mountain biking, traveling. I just feel like there's this energy of being active, of keeping up with yourself as well. Maybe even just eating in moderation, or eating kind of healthier foods, maybe kind of bringing in a lot more fresh fruits and vegetables into your diet. That's something that makes you very beautiful. But regardless, I also want to talk about with this orange peppermint, I think that it's orange flavored as well. And there's very much talks about when orange essential oil is used, it can be used for weight loss, it can be used as a appetite suppressor as well. And orange essential oil can also be used to help conquer anxiety, worry, or maybe even fears or frustrations. And I feel like that's your overall energy as well, is that people can turn to you when they're having a tough time, and you're someone who's going to be that rock. You're someone who is going to bring a lot of comfort and ease people's frayed nerves, is what I keep hearing. Also, some of you might really be into like Weight Watchers as well. I just kind of wanted to throw that out there. Regardless, going forward onto your first card, this is going to be your Druid Animal Oracle card, and this is talking about overall what makes you beautiful. So we have Fox. Woohoo! So I love that we have orange kind of showing up so much in this reading here, because it's definitely talking about dedication, determination, excitement, being at one with yourself, being at one in your own skin, being happy with where you are in life, and that's something that makes you very beautiful. I feel like you're very optimistic. Maybe you always like to look on the bright side. You always like to look at the silver lining, but you're also very resourceful. You're very cunning, very mischievous and sly. Now, don't think any bad things when we hear these sort of words, right? I feel like we hear sly and mischievous and cunning and we think, oh my gosh, someone's up to no good. But I feel like that couldn't be any further from the truth. I feel like you're someone who is very secretive. You would be incredibly good at holding surprise birthday parties. Let me tell you, I feel like you're someone who is a great planner in general. Maybe you're very organized. Maybe you're someone who is very tidy as well. And that's something that makes you very beautiful too. But I also feel like there's this energy of you being able to brave whatever is thrown your way because of your resourcefulness and because of the fact that you are so cunning and sly. You're very street smart as well. I just feel like you have a lot of kind of common sense about you. And I know that that's kind of, it should be without saying that you'd have common common sense, but sometimes it's not, right? So with the fox energy too, this is just kind of taking everything into account and then acting accordingly. And I feel like it's the same in social settings. Maybe you're someone who is very adaptable to different situations or different social settings. Honestly, if you feel drawn to stack 1 as well, I definitely recommend you watching that one before maybe even watching this one, because I feel like, or maybe even after, because of the fact that they're so kind of similar already, but they're different. So going forward, onto Fox, this is also talking about this energy of, you know, being very mysterious. You're not going to tell everything right off the bat to everyone. You know, you're not going to tell everyone your secrets. You're not going to tell everyone what you're up to. I feel like you're going to keep that to yourself the majority of the time, and that's something that makes you very beautiful. I feel like you have a few very trusted confidants, but other than that, I feel like you kind of like to stick to yourself. You like to kind of mind your own business and go about your own day. Now, also with this Fox energy, I love that it is a green border around here, because it's definitely talking about the fact that you're someone who's very stable. You're very grounded as well. You're very much in your equilibrium. You bring a lot of comfort to other people. You have a very good head on your shoulders. You can make very good decisions. But I feel like it's also talking about the fact that you're someone who is very connected with nature. I feel like maybe you have a lot of plants in your house. Maybe you try to have a lot of plants in your house as well. I feel like it's half and half. Some of you that pick this pile, maybe you're the kind that's like, I can't keep a plant alive to save my life, right? And then there's another half of you that's like, oh yeah, my house is just cluttered in plants, like plant clutter up to wazoo. So I feel like it's one or the other. And I feel like maybe even some of you that have a really hard time with the plants that are dying, you're going to find one plant that you just absolutely jive with, that you're just doing so good. You vibe with it. You're going to bring it into your house and you are going to put it everywhere, right? Now, also with this Fox energy, I want to say that you're also very quiet. You know, I feel like maybe some of you can be a little bit shy, you can be a little bit reserved, or you can be a little bit forthcoming. And maybe that's something that kind of sets you apart from pile 1 a little bit, is the fact that you're not so out there. You're not like, look at me, here I am. You know, I feel like you're someone who just wants to go about their day, get their business done, and then go home. I feel like you're someone who, you know, really enjoys the comforts of home. Maybe you're someone who also likes to furnish your house in a lot of really comfortable things, like really fluffy pillows, really nice blankets. You like to go to IKEA, but regardless, I definitely feel like there's this energy of surrounding yourself in comfort and surrounding yourself in things that don't make you feel stressed or don't make you feel anxious, because there's definitely this energy of maybe even feng shui. Maybe you dabble in that. Maybe you really like to use certain colors in your house. Maybe you're someone who believes in only having like white sheets on your bed because it will bring better dreams. And I definitely believe in that. You know, I used to sleep with darker sheets all the time, and I always had really terrible dreams. And I switched to brighter colored sheets, and I've been sleeping great, right? But with the Fox energy as well, this is also talking about someone who can be very intuitive too. So I feel like you're someone who is very much in your spiritual energy. You're someone who can rely on your spirituality, and you'll be receiving the correct information. Now, going forward, I also want to say, you know, maybe you're someone who can take on a lot of other people's worries as well. So going on to your next 3 cards, these are your animal messages cards, and these are talking about characteristics, qualities, and traits that make you beautiful. So we have camel, weasel, and cardinal. Woohoo! Okay, so maybe your name literally ends in an L. I don't know, it just kind of stood out to me. It doesn't have to, but I wanted to throw it out there. So with camel, it says, trust that you have the resources to get through the challenges before you. So there we go. Again, you're very crafty. You're someone who is very resourceful. I feel like you could stretch out meals for a long time if you're someone who is like running low on meat or on like staple supplies. You're someone who is very good at stretching meals out a lot more. I feel like you're just very cunning in that regard. I don't know why I keep being brought to the situation of like being in the Great Depression and making depression cake out of just the bare minimum of what you have, so then that way you can celebrate a birthday, or so you can have a good time, or so you can uplift another person's day. And I feel like that's very much your Libra energy is you'll always make the best out of a bad situation, even if you don't have the best ingredients, even if you don't have, the best, maybe even equipment for recording. I feel like you're always going to make the best out of it. You're always going to say, well, this is what I have, and this is what I'm going to try to accomplish with it. And you always get it done. And people really admire that about you. Oh my goodness. Again, you're very much a beacon of hope for a lot of people because of the fact that you are so resourceful. It's almost like you come up with a lot of different life hacks, but I feel like that also plays into the fact that you are an indigo child. So you like to think of things a little bit differently. Maybe there's a certain way that you like to cut strawberries, or there's a certain way that you like to peel watermelon, like take the rind off of it. I don't know, maybe there's just a very specific way that you do things and people just look at you and go, whoa, how did you learn how to do that, Marcia? Where did you even learn how to do that? And you're just like, I don't know, I've just always done it this way. And I feel like it's because of the fact that you are a trendsetter, the fact that you are someone who can stand away from the crowd. You don't have to please others to be happy. And that's kind of what brings forward all of these life hacks. That's what brings forward all of this rare knowledge even. I feel like you're someone who's incredibly intellectual. Oh my goodness. Now we also have Weasel. Be silent, pay attention, and simply observe with your eyes, ears, and physical feelings what is happening inside and all around you. So again, I feel like you're someone who is very good at taking stock, taking mental inventory, not only of yourself, but also of social situations. If you're out with other people, I feel like you're very good at feeling the overall aura and being able to break the ice. Or maybe you're someone who is also going to just kind of reach out a helping hand to someone and say, hey, Luis, are you doing okay? Right? You don't look okay. You look very upset. What's wrong? What's wrong today? And I feel like you're someone who just really likes to put yourself out there in regards to helping other people, but maybe you can really overburden yourself. Whereas Stack 1, I keep talking about you guys as similarities, whereas Stack 1, I think, is more independent. I feel like you're someone who really loves to help people, really loves to rely on other people as well, even though you are independent too. I feel like you're someone who maybe even can struggle with codependency issues just because people will come to you with all of their problems. And maybe that makes you feel really good, the fact that people want you to help them, the fact that people want your input on situations as well. But I also feel like it's because you're incredibly mature. I don't know who that was for, but I just kind of wanted to throw that out there. Now also, with Weasel, this is definitely talking about kind of going about a situation very cautiously. I feel like especially if you just start to kind of meet someone, I feel like you're very cautious. Maybe you have your guards up a little bit until you get to really know them, until they win your trust going forward, and maybe even until you win their trust as well. Maybe you kind of feel like there's an order to things. There's kind of steps that you have to take in order to get to a certain situation. And that's something that makes you very beautiful as well. You don't just rush into things. You take your time. You're very, very introspective as well. Now, also with Cardinal, it says the polarities of your spiritual pursuits and physical pleasures are out of balance. So do whatever is necessary to bring them back into equilibrium. Okay, so right off the bat, again, another thing that makes you very beautiful with this Cardinal card is the fact that you can have this energy of going out and having a good time, of partying, of spending time with friends, but then you can also go home and you can get work done. You can work around the house. You can take care of your family. You can take care of yourself, and I feel like you really have a great time of balancing it out very easily, or at least it looks easy to other people. Now also with Cardinal, notice how the Cardinal is perched here. It very much makes me feel like you're someone, again, who likes to think things through. You're not just going to jump into action immediately as soon as the situation calls for it. Now with Cardinals too, this is also a message from past loved ones or ancestors. That's what I like to see, Cardinals. It's also a message of good luck and good fortune coming your way. So people see you as someone who is very lucky, and that's something that makes you very beautiful too. Maybe you just kind of like to look at life as very lucky. You like to look at life as there's miracles around every single corner, right? And that's what brings more blessings and abundances your way. And I also feel like that's what kind of keeps you pushing forward, is the fact that you're like, there's a better day tomorrow. And that's what uplifts other people. That's what's incredibly beautiful about you, is that you take your time, you enjoy every second of it, and you persevere, right? So going on to your next two cards, these are your animal totem cards, and these are talking about your overall energy and what makes you beautiful. So we have the Fool card and the Empress. Wow! Okay, so these are both major arcana. Oh my goodness. And these are both incredible major arcana at that. So the Fool is definitely talking about new beginnings, someone who is excitable, someone who is an adventurer, someone who is just fun-loving all around. around, you are someone who can pick up a brand new book, you can start a brand new chapter in your life, and you can go on to the next best thing. And that is what the Fool is all about. I feel like you're someone who is also very awakened. You're someone who is in that childlike energy. You can look at the world with rose-colored glasses. You can also look at the world as if it's like you're seeing it for the first time. Maybe you're someone who gets very excited about flowers. Maybe for some of you, you're literally a florist as well as what I'm picking up. Or maybe you're someone who just has a very spiritually based career. Maybe you're someone who also works in the wedding industry. Maybe you're a wedding planner. Maybe you're someone who maybe even just plans for birthday parties or the like. There's just definitely a planner vibe here. But regardless, with the Empress as well, this is talking about someone who can take care of business by themselves, but also make time for self-care. See how the Empress is just laying in the field. She's enjoying her day. She's basking in the sun and in the breeze and just enjoying all the flowers around her as well, stopping and smelling the roses, if you will. And that's very much your energy. I feel like you're someone who is going to stop and smell the roses. You're someone who is going to appreciate the little things in life because you know that these little things can be gone in an instant, you know, especially when winter comes around. As soon as winter's here, there's no more flowers until spring. You know, you have to wait so long to see those flowers again. So I feel like you really enjoy it when finally your time of abundance finally does come around. You're someone who's also going to share it with others. You're not just going to bask in it all by yourself. I feel like you're very forthcoming with your abundance and with your happiness. You're someone who wants to share the happiness and share the wealth with everyone in your life and everyone in your family. And how beautiful is that? Now, also, I want to talk about the fact that we do have this sort of change and transformation between these two cards, because starting off with the Fool, you know, this is someone who is inexperienced. This is someone who is kind of childish as well, someone who is excitable, but they're leaping into and taking this leap of faith towards the Empress energy, someone who is mature, someone who is basically all of the queens in the tarot deck combined. So you're intellectual, you are emotionally mature, you are someone who knows what you want, you are someone who knows what you want based on a career as well. You are someone who also at the same time is very passionate. You're a self-starter. You're someone who is dedicated to yourself first and foremost. And I very much feel like this is the energy that people feel very drawn to you by, is the fact that you are very dedicated to yourself. The fact that you have matured so much, maybe even went through a glow up, right? But I definitely feel like there's this energy of really appreciating all that you have experienced throughout your life and just how much better of a person it has made you, how well-rounded it is. It's almost reminding me of this opalite, how when it comes out of the ground, it probably looks really, really rough, right? But then once it's polished and cleaned and shined up, it looks so beautiful and it looks so clean. And that's a lot of work that goes into this, you know, between the harvesting and the polishing and the cleaning. That's so much work just for this little piece. And maybe that's the same energy for you as well, is that it took a long time to get to here, but you're finally feeling comfortable in yourself. You're finally feeling polished. You're finally feeling like a diamond, ready to emerge from all the pressures that life has put upon you. So going on to your next card, this is your Secrets of the Mystic Grove card, and this is talking about another energy that makes you beautiful. So we have number 9, togetherness. Woohoo! Move together, we can take it higher. Boom, together, we can take it higher. I don't really remember the lyrics of that song, but that's what it was reminding me of. I'm gonna leave a link to that down below as well if I remember, just for those of you that really need it. So going forward with number 9, together, because I don't remember the name of the song right now. It's by Sia though. There's your hint. So with loyalty, fellowship, and bonding, people think that you're someone who is very unity based. People think that you're someone that they can rely on, especially if they've had a really tough day. That you're someone who can bring people together as well. You have that sort of peaceful mediator energy about you. You're very loyal. I think that you're loyal above anything else, especially in a partnership. I feel like you are the perfect partner. I feel like anyone would be blessed to have you in their life, and I feel like you really honor everyone's differences as well within your friend group and within your family group. But the differences is also what makes you guys work so beautifully together, because I feel like you harness each difference in a way that makes each one shine, if that makes sense. It's almost as if you know, you have all of these friends here. And yes, we have a lion, we have a cat, we have a cheetah, and they're all very, very different in regards to requirements, in regards to eating, in regards to, you know, just kind of temperaments as well. But you know how to handle each one. You know how to make them all feel comfortable around each other as well. Whereas maybe if you have a friend group, you know, and they all got together just meeting each other for the first time, it might be awkward. It might be uncomfortable. Like, what do we have in common? But the one thing that's in common is you. You bring people together. It could even be that you are someone who arranges protests. It could even be that you are someone who arranges gatherings, who arranges meetups, who arranges, you know, just any kind of social event. It doesn't even have to be together because we are social distancing right now, based on when this video was recorded. It could also just be online, maybe Zoom calls. Maybe you're keeping everyone in contact together during these really tough times, and that's something that makes you very beautiful. But there's definitely this energy of fellowship all around you, and friendship and camaraderie. And I feel like you're someone who cooperates. You work very, very good with other people as well. And that's something that people very much value about you, is that you're not competitive. You know, you're not someone who is a try-hard either, is what I keep hearing. You know, I feel like you just go with the flow and you allow yourself to just have fun. You're not going to force the conversation. You're not going to force people to like each other. You know, you just kind of relax and allow things to happen organically. So going on to your next 4 cards, these are going to be going more in depth onto what makes you beautiful and attractive to other people. So we have the 2 of Cups, the 4 of Wands. So remember I was saying literally, oh my gosh, the Sun too. Okay, literally the perfect partner. There we go. And the Ace of Pentacles. There we go. Okay, so you're the whole package. We could close this reading up. Bye. No. So with the 2 of Cups, this is literally talking about someone who is incredibly loyal, someone who's very balanced in the divine masculine and divine feminine, you know, allowing yourself to be in that intuitive side and very logical side as well. But at the same time, you know, maybe some of you are also pursuing a career in the medical field. I just wanted to put that out there. Maybe some of you are in nursing, maybe some of you are CNAs, or some of you are also doctors. Regardless, maybe even veterinary services. I feel like people really love the fact that you are someone who is very dedicated to the people that you love. You're very forthcoming with your emotions. I feel like when people meet you, they think that you're marriage material. Not even going to lie here. It like took the words out of my mouth when I saw these cards together, because it was like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding? Like, especially with the Sun card here, you know, you're someone who has a very stable foundation. You're someone who's warm, vivacious, who's understanding, who's comforting, who's creative, who's very talented as well. I feel like you're someone who actively births new ideas into being too. You're someone who maybe you have your own resin art business. Maybe you're someone who makes custom made toothbrushes. I don't know, but whatever it is that you do, I feel like you're very good at it. You're unbelievable, right? You're someone who is extraordinary in every single sense of the word. And I feel like people hold you in such a high regard and put you on a pedestal, not even going to lie, but it's because you're also so warm. You know that kind of meme that goes around online about the sunflowers and how they will turn to face the sun and how the sunflowers are facing her? I feel like that's your energy, is that everyone feels drawn to you because of the fact that you're so warm, because you radiate this unconditional love, this unconditional acceptance and kindness as well, and it just kind of radiates outside of you and onto other people. You're very much like the sun. You might even have some Leo in your chart, although you don't have to. I'm seeing water signs here. So Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces. Also some fire too. Aries, Sagittarius, or Leo, although you don't have to be. And then we also, with the Ace of Pentacles, have some earth signs as well. Virgo, Capricorn, or Taurus. Again, you don't have to be, but I feel like it kind of well encompasses the fact that you're someone who is very well rounded. You're someone, again, who's very well polished, right? And maybe it's taken a long time to get there, but you're just beautiful in so many ways. And to kind of limit it to just 1 or 2 things would be doing you such an injustice and such a disservice, is kind of what Spirit is saying here. But you're held in such a high regard. People really want to settle down with you. Not gonna lie, they see you and they think, what can I do to make this person stay with me? What can I do to make this person stay in my life for a long time? But I feel like it's because you're the whole package. You're someone who is career oriented. You're very motivated at the same time. You constantly get up and you push, you push, you push. You move forward. You know, I feel like there's nothing that you can't achieve, and that's the mindset that you have. Also with the sun, very optimistic energy. You're very positive. Again, looking at the silver lining of things, and that's something that's incredibly beautiful. But also with the Four of Wands, this is talking about a firm foundation, very stable setting as well. So it's talking about the fact that you are a universal constant to those in your life that you love. You're not going anywhere, and that's something that people really love about you. You know, maybe that's also kind of the difference between you and Stack 1, is that I feel like you're more expressive. I feel like maybe you even write to people and you tell people that you're thinking about them. You ask people if they're doing okay, if they're feeling all right. You keep in touch, you keep in contact. And I feel like maybe that's the difference here. So going forward onto your next 4 cards, these are your Crow Tarot cards, and these are talking about what your friends and family members find beautiful about you. So we have the Two of Wands, the Nine of Wands, the Knight of Wands, and the Lovers. Beautiful. Okay, so right off the bat, they find you as, again, to be someone who's very adventurous, someone who's very excitable, someone who goes out, they achieve their goals, they achieve their passions and their aspirations, and they come back home, right? But again, it's that universal constant of, I'm not going anywhere. Like, that's my home, that's my life, that's my family. Maybe you're someone who has basically said, I'm going to live in the same town forever. Like, I just wanted to grow old here, surrounded by my friends, surrounded by my family members, surrounded by my family, and me and my family can live to be very old, very happy, very good lives together, right? Now, with the Lovers too, though, it definitely talks about the fact that you are very balanced. People in your family and your friend kind of groups really love the fact that you are someone who's very balanced, very much in your equilibrium. But with the sun and the moon here, it definitely makes me think of divine masculine and divine feminine coming together so that you can be in harmony with yourself. But it also reminds me of the number 3, not going to lie, because when I think of the number 3, I think of coming into harmony with the mind, the body, and the spirit, so then that way you can make well-educated decisions. And so then that way you can be at peace with yourself. And that's something that your friends and family members would really comment on, is the fact that you are very much at peace with yourself and at harmony. And that's something that really inspires them to be at peace within themselves and to kind of take comfort in themselves as well. For others of you, maybe you decided to take on a brand new lifestyle change. Again, we were talking about CrossFit earlier and talking about, you know, how maybe you're someone who is getting a little bit more active, especially with the Knight of Wands. Maybe you're exercising a little bit more, and that's something that was noticed by your friends and family members. They really, really were proud of you. The fact that you changed your lifestyle, the fact that you really pushed yourself maybe to lose all of that weight as well. It's incredible, right? Now, with the Knight of Wands, this is also talking about the fact that you are someone who is a go-getter. You go out there, you come back, you achieve your goals, and then that's that. And that's something your family finds very, very beautiful. And I know I keep commenting on this, but it really is a beautiful energy. The fact that you don't need a big group of people to go with you to achieve these goals. You don't need to find validation. You know, you're someone who is complete within yourself. But I think you're complete because of all the lessons that you've learned along the way. And I feel like your friends and family members would probably say to you that you have overcome a lot, that you're someone who is beautiful based on all of your trials and tribulations that you have overcome. There's actually a quote that says, you have survived 100% of your hardest days. And I very, very much apply it to this stack because of the fact that we have the kind of sun creeping out from the clouds in all of these cards. You know, even in the earlier cards, it's like it's a kind of cloudy day. It's a beautiful day, but it's a cloudy day nonetheless. There's no sun to be seen, and you're stepping into it. You're jumping into it as well. You're taking the leap of faith towards happier days, to brighter times. You're choosing to look at the optimistic side of things. And I feel like your friends and family members really thank you for that, because it really puts them into a better mood as well. It really helps them to look at things from a better perspective and look at things a little bit differently than they might have before. So with the Two of Wands, I feel like your friends and family members also, again, would talk about the fact that you're a really good decision maker, and that's something that makes you very beautiful. You have a very good head on your shoulders. You know, you're someone who is also very, very comforting. Do you see how they're kind of cuddling together and they're taking all the time that they need? I feel like that's your energy. You're very patient with the people that you love. You're not going to rush them. You're not going to laugh at them. You're not going to judge them. You're going to be there for them entirely. And how beautiful is that? So going forward onto your next 4 cards, these are your You Will More tarot cards, and these are talking about what makes you beautiful that you might not have necessarily expected to. So we have the Five of Pentacles, Pentacles, the Hierophant card, the Nine of Wands, again, beautiful, and the I was gonna say the Prince of Cups, the Knight of Cups. He might be a prince, you know, we never know. So with the Five of Pentacles, what makes you beautiful is the fact that when you have felt shut out in the cold, when you have felt like you have experienced trials and tribulations and challenges and blockages as well, you've pushed forward, you've kept going, you made ways for yourself. You know, even though it looks like she's kind of stuck up there, I feel like you're someone who would kind of survey the area and say, well, I could put my foot here, 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 and then get to this patch of grass. Then I don't have to be in this rapids anymore, right? And I feel like that's very much your energy, is that you're a problem solver. You're someone who can think outside the box to get yourself out of some really bad situations, and that's something that makes you very beautiful. You're also someone who might be a spiritual advisor. Some of you might have your own tarot YouTube channels or Instagrams. You don't have to, but I wanted to throw it out there. It could also be that you just are very wise. A lot of people come to you for inspiration. You're also marriage material. Again, I'm going to throw that out there. You're very balanced, very much in your divine masculine and divine feminine. You have the keys to both. And again, I feel like in relationships too, that's something that's very appreciated, because you're someone who doesn't mind maybe being 50-50 or basing the relationship off of reciprocity. I feel like you're someone who says, okay, well, you buy the movie tickets and then I'll buy the snacks, or you buy all the food at Disney World and then I'll buy all the tickets and everything to all the parks. You know, I feel like you just kind of split it up very evenly, so then that way there's not a whole big burden on just one of you inside of a partnership or even inside of a friendship kind of group as well. Now with the Nine of Wands too, you're victorious. Even after you've been through all of these challenges, you still look good. You know, it looks like you haven't even broken a sweat. Honestly, in the majority of Nine of Wands, he looks very exhausted. He looks tired. He looks terrible. He looks like his head is wounded. He's bleeding. I'm bleeding out if it's the last thing that I do. And that's very much the energy here, is that you've been bruised, you've been beaten, you've been bloodied, but at the same time, it doesn't show on the outside because you're someone who is very strong, you're someone who is very resilient, and I feel like you don't put that kind of out there to other people. I feel like you don't wear your pain on your sleeve. For a lot of you that pick this pile or pick this stack, and that's something that people really think is beautiful, is the fact that you can go through all this and look like you haven't like gone through anything, like you haven't left the house at all. They're just sort of like, really? You just have a little bit of a scuff mark on your cheek and that's it? Like, that's it, that's all? And you've been literally across the waterfall, almost falling into the rapids, and you look like this? You know, and I feel like it's just because you have had a great outlook on life, because you have focused on the bright side, you've focused on the happiness here, and that's what has brought you kind of a lot of abundance and a lot of blessings coming your way. You're also someone who's very forthcoming with your feelings, with your emotions, and with your love, not going to lie, right? And I love that. Oh my goodness. Even if you've been shut out in the cold by people, I feel like if they came back to you and asked for forgiveness, I feel like you would forgive them, no questions asked. I feel like you would hear them out. I feel like you would listen to them. I feel like you're someone who believes in forgiving and forgetting and not holding on to grudges, and that's something that also makes you very beautiful as well. I feel like you're very sensitive, very sentimental. You might really like homemade gifts. Maybe you yourself make homemade gifts, and that's something that people really love about you. But regardless, you're definitely someone who is very forthcoming about your emotions. You're very affectionate too. Now, going forward, I also want to say you're a little bit of a hopeless romantic also, so maybe you like to watch like Christmas Hallmark romance movies. Regardless, going on to your last few messages, these are your closing messages, which are your Enchanted Tarot cards, and these are talking about what makes you beautiful in closing. So we have the Eight of Hearts, the Queen of Pentacles, the Two of Hearts again, the Magician, and the Prince of Swords. Beautiful. Okay, so right off the bat with the Eight of Hearts, this is talking about sacrifice. You know, sacrificing something that maybe no longer fits in your life, going away from hardships, you know, maybe even responsibilities, taking a break from responsibilities in order to focus on yourself, in order to focus on your happiness, on your abundance, on your passions. And that's something that's very beautiful about you, is that when the going gets tough, maybe you take some time away to reflect, to decide where it is that you're going to go from there, and then you step right back into the action. Then you get right back into it. But there's also this energy of sacrificing things that no longer serve you, that no longer fit who you're planning on being over the next 5 to 10 years. You know, maybe you're just deciding I'm going to completely do better. You know, I'm going to decide to change my life entirely. I'm going to have a lifestyle change. I'm going to do this and that. But I cannot have these certain things in my life if I want to have this sort of a lifestyle. You know, maybe this could be saying, I'm going to cut out procrastination in my life, so then that way I have a little bit more career time. This could also be talking about I'm going to cut out toxic friendship groups or toxic people out of my life, so then that way I can focus my time on myself a little bit more and not so much on them. Also, with the Two of Hearts and the Magician, I feel like maybe you're someone who actively is manifesting love. Maybe you're someone who is actively manifesting your twin flame as well, and that's something that makes you very beautiful, because on that journey you're also learning how to love others at the same time. Now, also with the Prince of Swords, this is talking about communication. You're a very, very good conversationalist. I feel like you're someone who people really love when your name pops up on their screen. They really love getting a text message from you. They really love getting messages from you in general. So definitely keep doing that. Keep being forthcoming with yourself. Keep opening up to people as well, but only people who are worthy of your time and worthy of your presence as well. Don't lower your standards for other people, and don't lower your worth as well, because I feel like you're someone who already knows your worth, so don't take step backwards on that. Now also with the Two of Hearts, I love that that shows up twice here. This is talking about, you know, not only showing love to other people, but also showing love to yourself, you know, filling both of your cups yourself, not having to just rely on another person. And I feel like that's very much your energy, is that you're just happy to be alive, basically, not going to lie. Now, with the Two of Cups as well, this is talking about equilibrium and balance within partnerships. I feel like maybe you could be a marriage counselor or maybe even a therapist, because of the fact that you are someone who is not only very well spoken and helps other people put things into perspective, but because of the fact that people really respect what you have to say in that regard. And I feel like you're a very good listener. You know, I feel like you're someone who is just incredibly good at listening, and to have a good relationship, a very healthy relationship, you have to be able to communicate to one another. You have to be able to openly have that sort of soundboarding off of one another, and I feel like you do that very beautifully, Stack 2. Okay, so any other messages? Again, you're very much a master manifester as well with the Magician here. I feel like you're someone who is bringing blessings into your life just based on the fact that you are focusing on this more positive, uplifting energy. I feel like you're someone who wants to add to the world as well. I keep hearing John Mayer's Waiting on the World to Change too. So maybe you're someone who is also really into politics as well, but you bring a very positive, optimistic spin to it, because so many times it can be very, you know, kind of negative. And I feel like you're someone who helps people to understand politics in a very uplifting way that doesn't make people feel so stressed. Maybe that's even your calling in life, right? But anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this stack too. Definitely let me know if this resonates in the comments down below. I love all of you guys' comments. Oh my goodness, I read each and every one. I hope that you're doing incredible. Make sure to leave a like on this as well if you enjoyed this. Also, make sure to hit the subscribe button if you have not already, and hit that little bell icon to be notified every time that I upload a brand new video. Also, I will put all of the links in the description box down below to my personal readings, and also where I do all of my crafts and so on and so forth. I'll also leave all of the names to all of the decks that I'm using in the description box down below too, so you guys can check them out. I hope that you're doing incredible. I hope to hear from you soon, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye! Hello to everyone who chose stack 3. Let's get right into your reading and see what makes you beautiful. So right off the bat, I love that you chose the green peppermint with the tiger's eye. I feel like you're someone who stands out from the crowd. I feel like you're very patient, very detail oriented. At the same time, you really take your time with things. I feel like you are very eloquent at the same time. I feel like you're someone who very much pronunciates your words. I feel like people very much hold you in a very high regard as well. You're someone who can adapt to any situation too. I feel like if life throws some really hard situations at you, that you're someone who can overcome them incredibly fast. I feel like you're someone who just adapts very fast. What is it that Bear Grylls says? Adapt, overcome, and thrive. That's very much your energy. So going forward with your color card as well, I love that it's almost like kind of stippling. It's not really, but I like that it's so textured, and I feel like that's kind of your energy going forward, and that's something that people really love about you, is the fact that you are so detailed. And it's almost like when people first get to know you, they don't think that you are so kind of deep as you are, or that you are someone who has as much substance as you are. And then when people finally do get to know you, they really do realize that you're someone who's incredibly intelligent, you're unique, you're someone who can stand on your own 2 feet, you're someone who is resourceful. You know, you're just kind of the whole package, right? I feel like you're very comfortable with yourself, you're very at ease, you're very self-assured as well, which makes other people feel very comfortable in themselves. I really like this pile, not going to lie. I feel like you allow people to have a sort of safe space with you too. You're non-judgmental. I feel like you're someone who allows people to be who they want to be around you. You're not going to put labels on things. You're not going to stress things. You're just very, very easygoing and very laid back. For some of you, you might have been world travelers prior to the pandemic. You might even still want to be world travelers. You might be travelers in general. Some of you might be foodies as well, and maybe that's something you can really bond on with other people. But I feel like you're very inventive. You're very ingenuitive as well, and someone who might be kind of an inventor, especially with this peppermint. When we think about peppermint candies, you know, we think about regular peppermint. We don't think of spearmint, or at least I don't. But a lot of people really, really do. A lot of people love spearmint. And I feel like that's kind of your energy, is that you're someone who goes outside of the box. You're someone who maybe when people first get to talking to you, they have one expectation of what you are, or one impression of what you might be like. And then as time goes on, they realize that couldn't have been any further from the truth, because this person has so much kind of character development, I guess it'd be the best way to put it. You're just very interesting and very mysterious at the same time. So going on to your first card, this is your Animal Druid Oracle card, and this is talking about overall what energy makes you beautiful. So we have Chimera. Woohoo! So this is a really awesome card to get right off the bat. Oh my goodness, you're someone who's definitely very adaptable. So we have the head of a lion, the kind of second head of a goat, and then the tail of a snake. And I really love chimeras because it talks about this creature that it might seem really scary and also kind of unlikely, because all of these creatures, let's be honest, they could all kind of attack each other. Maybe even it's kind of like you might be at wits with yourself. Maybe you're someone who's very hard on yourself. Maybe you're someone who has struggled with depression or anxiety in the past. Maybe you're someone who even has kind of struggled with self-deprecating humor, or just kind of speaking into existence, you know, kind of tough words on yourself. And I feel like people really want you to be kinder, because all of your differences go together so beautifully. You know, in a way, the longer that you look at this creature, it doesn't look strange. It starts to look very normal, because once we look at the stag here, you know, we see that it kind of morphs into the arm and into the shoulder. So where does the lion begin and the stag / antelope end? Where does the stag / antelope end and the snake begin? That is very much the question. So, you know, it's kind of talking about how all of your flaws are what makes you beautiful. And that is what makes you the person that you are right now. That's what makes you unique. That's what makes you incredible going forward. And how beautiful is that? This is also being in harmony with yourself. When I think of the number 3, I think of connecting the mind, the body, and the soul in such a beautiful way, weaving them together so that you can make well-rounded decisions for yourself, so that you aren't someone who is on the fence about if you should do this or if you should do that. You know, you're someone who just knows instantaneously, well, I'll just go this way, right? Maybe you just kind of dive into things as well. I also feel like those of you that pick the stack, you have the Midas touch, and everything that you touch kind of turns to gold, because notice how everything that the chimera is touching right now is turning to kind of boiling hot lava. And maybe that's your energy, is that everything that you touch, everything that comes into your life, you literally breathe life into, you breathe passion into, and love and acceptance. And that's something that people find very, very beautiful about you. Notice how kind of dead and dry this forest looked, and now it looks very lively. Sure, you know, it might not be the best, but after this controlled burn of all of these dead trees, what's going to happen is there's going to be a rebirth of all this lush, very beautiful foliage. And that's your energy with Chimera, is that you are willingly kind of destructing certain areas of your life so you can rebuild it into something better. You are someone who is constantly having these transformative moments. Maybe you're someone who also likes to be by yourself. I keep hearing, ooh, lonely. It's just me, myself, and I. Solo ride until I die, 'cause I've got me for life, right? And that's not a bad thing. I think it's really wonderful that you can be your own best friend, but maybe that's something that has had to come through many, many years of having to adapt to that, because again, these are all animals that might not necessarily get along in a traditional setting, but they've had to learn how to work together. Maybe your moon, your sun, and your rising sign are just completely different, which I completely understand. I'm a Gemini moon with a Virgo sun, a Capricorn rising, so it's scattered. It's a scattered energy. So with that, you know, maybe it is also that sort of a thing where you have differing signs and differing placements within your birth chart, but that's also what makes you so intricate and makes you so beautiful. Sorry, I just bumped the camera. So, going forward onto your next few cards. Oh, actually, before we do that, I also want to talk about the fact that this is also a fire element card as well, since the border is red. So maybe some of you have fire in your placements. So this could be Sagittarius, Aries, or Leo, although it does not have to be. I feel like maybe that's just your overall energy. Maybe some of you have really nice hair. Some of you look very nice as well. I've never met a not a sun sign. I've never met a fire sign who hasn't looked incredible. Literally also a Leo, so they're a sun sign. So going forward onto your next three cards, these are going to be your animal messages cards, and these are talking about characteristics, qualities, and traits that make you beautiful. So we have snow leopard, rattlesnake, and blue heron. Okay, so some of you might literally have a snake as a spirit animal. Whoop whoop. I am totally biased though, because one of my spirit animals is a snake as well, but it is talking about intuition, trusting your spirituality, knowing that you're on the right path, being a healer as well, being someone who is incredibly intuitive but very wise, someone who has learned your lessons, someone who, you know, maybe even learned from your mistakes, but you've bettered from it. And maybe that's even why we have these three sort of different animals here. It could also be representing a different time in our life when we think about the maiden, the mother, and the crone. It's all representing a different time in our life, you know, or a different cycle where we've had to learn and how to adapt, how to be resourceful as well. Now going forward with snow leopard, it says take some time out of your usual life and spend it in solitude. So there we go. I definitely feel like you're someone who likes to be very independent. You like to be by yourself, and that's very beautiful. It's nice that you take time for yourself. You know, maybe even just for your self-care routine. Maybe you're someone who says, hey Barbara, look, I really wanted to go roller skating with you this week, but I can't. I'm all tied up. I want to polish my shoelaces for the next 5 hours. Don't ask me about it, because I'm going to be so busy that I can't even talk to you over the sound of my shoelace polishing. Don't even talk to me, Barbara. But I feel like you're someone who's just very upfront. Like, I don't have time for this. I appreciate you offering me the invite, but I have other things to do. Maybe you're someone who also is into Reiki healings. Maybe you're someone who does a lot of guided meditations on YouTube, maybe even some past life regressions as well. I feel like you're someone who harnesses the energy of your past life, whether knowingly or unknowingly. I feel like you have a lot of rare knowledge and rare information because of your past life. I feel like maybe you even gravitate towards baking or cooking, and that's probably a past life skill as well. Some of you maybe even worked in like palaces, but I definitely feel like you're someone who excels at these things. So you're definitely someone who likes to spend time by yourself in order to round up your feelings and emotions. Notice all the blue and the purple in the background here. This is definitely talking about becoming at one with your emotions and with your emotional sensitivity, grounding yourself in your emotions, but grounding yourself in your spirituality as well. And then coming back to the rest of the world after you have sorted all of this out, after you have come into your equilibrium and come into yourself. Now, with Rattlesnake, it says the experiences that you're presently going through are an initiation into fulfilling your purpose as a healer. And how beautiful is that? So definitely you are someone who is a healer. You're a natural born healer. You're a natural born leader as well. It could be that some of you literally do Reiki. It could be that some of you as well are deciding to get into yoga too. But I definitely feel like you just have this healing touch. Maybe for some of you, you could just go up to someone if they they have a headache and you place your hand gently on their forehead and they feel better. And it's just because your energy is so calming. You just have such a healing presence about you. People feel instantly better just being near you, just talking to you, just hearing your voice. I feel like your voice is also very beautiful. People really love hearing you. They love hearing your laugh. I feel like people have this energy of they've hit the lottery as soon as they kind of make you laugh with a really bad dad joke. But I definitely feel like you are someone who is very admired by a lot of people because of the fact that you take care of yourself first and then, kind of come back to everyone else, because you don't project onto other people. And I feel like you're very knowing about that. Like when you're going through a tough time, you sort it out by yourself and then you approach other people. You're not going to unload it all on your friend Deborah, all at once and be like, Deborah, all this happened. You have to help me. I think that you're someone who is more quiet. I feel like you stick to yourself with your problems and you quietly kind of learn how to solve them and fix them. Again, adapting, right? But with the orange backgrounds on these two cards, it's also talking about that vivaciousness, the fact that you are someone who's very warm, the fact that you are someone who's very forthcoming and open. Maybe you have very open body language as well, like here I am, right? And that's something that people find very beautiful about you, as well as that you're not hunching into yourself, you're not closed up. Now with Blue Heron, it says make a stand for what you believe in and do what feels right in spite of any judgment or disapproval from others. So with this Blue Heron card, you're definitely someone who's going to stand up for yourself. You're going to say no. You've learned how to say no, and you're putting your foot down. Maybe for some of you, you have been pushed around or taken for granted in the past, and going forward, you're not in that energy at all anymore. You're having a good time, right? You're standing up for yourself, and you're saying to people, look, if you're not going to be nice to me, if there's nothing nice that you have to say, you're either not going to talk to me or bam, you're blocked, right? And I wouldn't be surprised if we see a Queen of Swords or a King of Swords in here, not going to lie. But it's just because I feel like you're standing up for yourself now. There's this no nonsense energy, and it's not that you're doing it in a rude way, but it's that you're persevering. It's the fact that you're no longer going to allow people to pull one over on you, right? Because maybe in the past, for some of you that picked this stack, you were someone who kind of ignored red flags or ignored when something wasn't quite right. And now when you see the kind of path lighting up red underneath your feet, you're like, hold up. And you look around and you're like, how can I make this situation better? Where can I go from here that's not going to lead me down this dangerous red flag alleyway, right? And that's very much your energy going forward, and that's something that makes you very beautiful. So another thing also with Blue Heron, it goes into that energy of ingenuity and the fact that you are someone who stands alone, the fact that you are someone who distances yourself from the crowd. You're a trendsetter. I feel like people kind of gravitate towards your style as well. You might have even been called like revolutionary for your time, or like ahead of your time, because maybe you were into like a lot of these fashions like 5 years ago, and then out of nowhere everyone's wearing holographic like glitters and stuff, and you're like, what the heck? I've been wearing holographic glitters for years. But it's just because you're definitely a trendsetter. You're definitely ahead of the times. And I feel like it's also the fact that you're someone who is always trying brand new things. I feel like if there's a brand new makeup trend, you're going to try it out. Or, if you're just kind of messing around in the mirror one day, I feel like you're going to do your hair different and wear it out, and people are going to be like, whoa, that's incredible, Barbara. What did you do there, right? Now, with the Blue Heron card too, I have a really quick story that I wanted to tell you guys because I feel like it kind of goes into your energy. So I was on a bird walk with my mother a few years ago out here in Loveland. Well, I'm in Greeley now, but in Loveland, there's this little pond, and it's so beautiful, and we were all bird watching that day, and everyone got so excited because there was a blue heron in the sky, and everyone was screaming, blue heron, blue heron, wow! And coming from Florida, I've seen many a blue heron in my life. It never gets not exciting. I'm always just as excited. I'm there like, yeah, blue heron! But it wasn't until they landed that the main birder turns to us and says, they're extremely, extremely rare to see out here. And it just kind of puts into perspective the idea that you know, maybe if you're someone who grew up in a certain circumstance, like where you're seeing blue herons every single day, it doesn't seem as miraculous. But when you're living somewhere where it doesn't travel out there, it is a little bit more miraculous. And maybe that's kind of you guys' energy that picks stack 3, is that you guys are something unexpected. You guys are something that is like a miracle or a blessing for people around you, and you're a blue heron, and you walk into a room, or maybe you even show up at like a party and everyone's like, blue heron showed up, they arrived, right? Because no one really anticipated that you would show up. Like maybe people think that you're that kind of a cool kid, right? But with that energy of blue heron, I definitely feel like you're someone who is one of a kind, that you're authentic, you're genuine, you're unique, and you definitely know how to get a party started. I feel like people get really excited when they see you, right? So going forward onto your next 2 cards, these are your animal totem cards, and these are talking about your overall energy and what makes you beautiful. So we have, oh my gosh, the King of Swords. I told you guys, oh my gosh, I was not surprised at all. Okay, so the 10 of Cups too. Oh, how sweet. Okay, so you would definitely protect your friends and family members, without a doubt, point blank period. That is what you would be doing. I feel like you are someone who is very defensive of them as well. Not in a bad way. I just feel like there's nothing you wouldn't do for the people that you love and for the people that are in your life. And how beautiful is that? Also, with the King of Swords energy, I feel like you're an intellectual. You're very smart, very well educated. People really love that about you. You might know a lot of trivia. I don't know why I'm getting Gemini energy for this pile. It could even be Aquarius, maybe even Libra as well. But we also do have cups here, so it could be Cancer, maybe even Scorpio as well, or Pisces. Regardless, so with this energy, I definitely feel like this is that sort of duality where you can be very fierce, you can be very stoic, you can be very independent, but at the same time, you can be very sweet and loving and affectionate and caring and family oriented. And I feel like you're someone who very much values family, and that's something that people find very beautiful about you, is that you don't cut corners when it comes to the people that you love. I feel like you really go and give 110% to your family members and to your friends as well. Now also, with these 2 together, the King of Swords and the 10 of Cups, I feel like this is kind of saying, I have worked very hard to get to this level of happily ever after, or to get to this level of fulfillment. This could be even by yourself, being a single person, living that bachelor or bachelorette lifestyle, but you've made your own family. You've made your own friend group that has become family. You've made your own bonds in life as well, because remember, family doesn't have to just be biological. It can just be the people that mean the most to us, right? The people that take up the most space in our heart. That's who our family is. Now also, with the 10 of Cups, do you see this little baby at the bottom? For some of you that picked this stack, I feel like maybe you could be an only child, or maybe you were raised as an only child, but it could be like if your like siblings were older, like if your siblings are way younger and you grew up first and then they came along. I don't know. I wanted to clarify that because then I was like, that sounds really weird. Like you have a bunch of kids and then you just like treat one of them like they're your child. I don't know. I just wanted to put that out there. It was really bothering me. So with the 10 of Cups and the King of Swords though, this is definitely saying, I will protect this happiness. I will protect this happily ever after, you know, no matter what, because I have worked so hard to have this, you know, and I'm someone who is deserving of it. I'm someone who's worthy of this happily ever after. Both of these are completion cards as well. Kings are the highest that you can get to in the court cards, plus 10 is the highest that you can get to numerologically throughout the tarot. So it's very much talking about the fact that you've reached the end of your cycle, or at least it looks like you have. It looks like you have it all. Kind of like Ariel. Doesn't it look like I've got everything? I couldn't remember it for a second. But that's very much your energy. Is that maybe you guys are kind of giving off the appearance that you have this everything's taken care of, or everything is accounted for, I guess, going forward in your lifestyle. But people just see you as someone who is incredibly successful and incredibly well put together. But sometimes I feel like you have a hard time speaking up to your family members. because I keep kind of losing my voice here, and I feel like maybe that's because of the King of Swords being here, and it's like my sword is over here, I'm putting my crown down, and then I'm spending time with my family. Maybe you don't want to be blunt in front of your friends and family members, you know, or maybe just even the people that you love the most. It could even just be a romantic partner. Maybe you put that aside once you get home and you become someone who is just completely different. But then when you go out to work, or when you go out to like the regular world, maybe you become stoic, or you become like, I have to just go get my groceries and come home, and I can't talk to anyone on the way there. That's too much time wasted at Whole Foods. But your energy is basically like, I've worked very hard for this, I've worked very hard for my happily ever after, and I'm not going to let anyone take that away from me either. And that's something that people find very beautiful and attractive about you, is that you will really fight for your family and for the people that you love. Now, another thing is that you really make a house a home. I don't know why, but I keep hearing that, and I feel like you're someone who decorates very nicely. I feel like you're someone maybe who has even planned for your own house if you don't have one already. Maybe you have a hope chest where you just kind of put in a bunch of like items you can use at a later date in preparation. I just feel like you're very prepared, and you're someone who can definitely make a house very cozy, very warm, very accepting and comforting, and genuine as well. You know, it's not like when you walk into a house and everything looks like it's a model home and everything's on display and it's never been lived in a day in its life, right? I feel like you're very good at making a house look tidy and clean and organized, but at the same time look lived in. There's knickknacks places, there's, you know, little hints of you in every room. And I feel like every time that you meet a person, I feel like you kind of I don't want to say that you rub off on them or you change them, but I feel like there's just this kind of fiber of your being that goes into them and makes them want to change, makes them want to feel contentful, make them want to feel peaceful as well and happy. So going forward onto your next card, this is your Secrets of the Mystic Grove card, and this is talking about another thing that makes you beautiful. So we have number 15, seeking knowledge. There we go. Wisdom, searching, and learning. So the number 15 would be the number 6. This is talking about abundance. It can also be talking about starting to plant the seeds of intention for the law of attraction. You know, you're someone who is constantly planting those seeds, you know, and then working really hard, reaping what you sow at the end of the day after a hard day's work. But you're constantly searching, you're constantly gaining new knowledge, you're constantly gaining new awareness as well. For some of you, I feel like you are maybe even studying for a brand new career opportunity. Some of you are taking up a brand new course of study in university, and you're really excited about it. I feel like you're really going places, you're really going to achieve amazing things, and you can feel it on the horizon. And that's something that makes you very beautiful, is the fact that you keep pushing yourself to learn these new concepts, or learn these new ideas, or learn, you know, maybe even new theories as well. And that's something that people find very admirable, is the fact that you are so intelligent and you do retain this knowledge very easily. And I feel like you're also someone who, no matter how old you get, you always believe that you're learning, you're always growing, you're always adapting and evolving. And that's something that people really like too. You're not going to just close up to people and be like, yeah, I know about that already, Carol. You know, like, you're someone who's very open to hearing about how a butterfly, you know, maybe goes through metamorphosis again, because maybe there's something that you missed out on. You know, maybe there's some information that someone knows that you don't necessarily know. And that's something that people really love about you. And now also with the number 16, I feel like, or with the number 15, that'd be the number 6. This is talking about the fact that you want to seek an abundance of knowledge. You want to basically know everything. Maybe you're hungry for the knowledge of the universe as well. And that's something that really excites people and really makes people excited to talk to you at the same time. So going on to your next 5 cards, these are your Ethereal Visions Tarot cards, and these are talking about what else makes you beautiful. So we have the 5 of Pentacles, the 10 of Pentacles, the 7 of Pentacles, the 2 of Pentacles, and the King of Wands. Woohoo! Okay, so with the 5 of Pentacles, you've definitely known your fair share of blockages, of hardships, of disappointments as well. It could be disappointments in different areas of life. It could be disappointments with certain people as well. It could even be in regards to your family. Some of you could have familiar wounds, where maybe, you know, maybe you have a little bit of a tough relationship with your mother or your father that you're still working out. For others, I feel like maybe you just found comfort in your family during those really tough trials and tribulations. Maybe that's even why we have the 10 of Cups showing up here so many times, because it's saying, my family are my rock. My family is my life. But regardless, with the Five of Pentacles, this is talking about change and transformation, and change can always feel a little bit uncomfortable. Back to talking about the butterfly, you know, the butterfly can actually pass on during the molt if it gets too stressed, if it gets too overwhelmed because of the fact that it's so stressful. The same goes with hermit crabs and with birds, you know, any kind of creature that molts, snakes, tarantulas. The change can be very uncomfortable. It can be painful. It can be, you know, very stressful and upsetting at the same time, but they have to do it. They have to continue growing and evolving and changing, right? And that's very much your energy of, even though it's uncomfortable, you make the best of a bad situation and you work incredibly hard. Remember how I was talking about you reap what you sow? The Seven of Pentacles is literally the card of you will reap what you sow, right? Because it's talking about putting all the work into this garden and really working all day and all night, and then finally being able to stand back and admire all of your hard work because it's finally growing, it's finally coming into fruition. But you're definitely going places in your career, or at least that's what it looks like to other people going forward, especially with the Ten of Pentacles and the Seven of Pentacles next to each other. You're a very hard worker, and people very much can see just how dedicated you are to that. But we do have the Two of Pentacles, so there's a little bit of a juggling here. You know, maybe from time to time it's a little bit hard for you to juggle your relationships with your career, or your career with your family, or just be able to find enough time. Maybe that is one thing that you say is, man, I wish I had more hours in the day. But I feel like people really appreciate the fact that you can cram them into your busy day, because I feel like you are someone who will check in on people. I feel like you're someone who is going to drop a line on the people that you really care about. You're also really close to animals. I feel like you have a very huge affinity to them. You really understand them in such a profound way as well. I feel like you spiritually understand them. So maybe you have a lot of dogs, cats, maybe reptiles. But regardless, I definitely feel like you use animal energy and animal healing, animal medicine in your day-to-day life. But there definitely is abundance and happiness and financial growth coming in. And people are really admiring you for that. They find that very beautiful. I just wanted to put that out there. So another thing that people find very beautiful about you, and that is beautiful in general, is the fact that you do make time. I know I was talking on this a little bit, but I feel like you balance it so effortlessly. So even though you might feel a little bit frustrated because we do have choppy waters in the background, it's a very windy day where she is handling it like a pro. She is handling it like it were any other day, like it was just a sunny day with no clouds in the sky, no wind whatsoever, and it's because you've matured. Your maturity is something that is very beautiful, is something that's very attractive about you as well. Just something absolutely incredible. You're very fiery as well with this salamander in the corner. Salamanders are also talking about how you can be very adventurous, and you're someone who likes to go outside of yourself. You like to go outside of your community or go outside of your situation and experience brand new opportunities, brand new situations and circumstances. But you also like to return home at the end of the day. You like to stick close to home. You like stick to close to things that are comfortable for you. You might even have some Taurus in your chart. I don't know why I was picking up on that. Probably just with that sort of comfortability with the salamander, because salamanders, truthfully, they can't leave too far away from the water that they're near because they'll dry up. So they always have to stay relatively close. And I feel like that's kind of your energy is, you know, even though you're achieving your successes, something that's beautiful about you is that you're still keeping in touch with people. You're still keeping in contact, and you're still finding a way to balance all of your relationships and all of the complexities of life in such a beautiful way. So going forward onto your next few cards, these are your Crow Tarot cards, and these are talking about what your friends and family members think is beautiful about you. So we have the Five of Swords, the Five of Wands. Wow. So what's beautiful about you? You're very competitive. Not gonna lie, you're incredibly competitive, and I think that they find it very funny. Not gonna lie. So we also have the Four of Wands, the Four of Swords. Wow, lots of repetition. Maybe you're someone who's very predictable as well, and that's something that your friends and family members find very beautiful, is that they always know what to expect out of you. It's not like you're someone who's incredibly unpredictable and they just don't know what's next. I think that they have a general idea of how to react around you, or how to handle you, so to speak, especially if you are a little bit moody. I just wanted to throw that out there because especially with the Two of Pentacles, we do have kind of choppy waters and it can talk about moodiness. And that's not a bad thing. I feel like you just like to honor your emotions and you like to feel them. And maybe you like to go up to your family members and be like, I got a bone to pick with you, right? I just kind of bring it up and say, this is what's going on. This is what's upsetting me. This is how we can fix it. And because of that, I think that you're someone who, when you're upset, you get upset about it and then you get over it very quick. Because notice this, it's just sort of like, bam, 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 it's over, right? We have literally action, you know, maybe you confronting people, you know, you saying, this isn't right, you can't insult my shoes like that, that's ridiculous, you don't see me insulting your weird sandals that you have to lace up all the way to your thighs, George. And then we have the Four of Wands here that's definitely talking about stability after the fight, you know, and kind of coming to common ground, hearing people out, just kind of being a mediator as well, taking a break and resting, thinking about it, thinking about maybe the argument or the common ground that you came to, and then closing it out, right? And that, it's just so plain. I love it. But you cut right through all of the drama. You cut right through all of the nonsense as well. And how beautiful is that? I also feel like you don't take things like too to heart, right? So if someone says something really rude to you or someone like kind of insults, like let's say you spent all day working on your makeup or you spent all day working on a roast and you stick the roast in the oven and it's a beautiful roast. It comes out of the oven and then everyone's like, it's a dry roast. And you're like, look, I worked so hard today. I made the roast too, and I guess I just forgot the roast was in the oven. I thought it was a great roast. I'm sorry. But they just won't let it, like, you live it down. I think that you're going to confront them. You're going to say, like, that's ridiculous. You don't have to joke about stuff like that. Like, you can cook the roast then. If you want a roast, next time we have a roast, you cook the roast. You show me how to cook a roast. It turns into a joke. I think that you kind of turn it around out of this argumentative energy into a joke. Everyone takes a breather and then it's over with, right? But I think that you like nip it in the bud very, very fast. And that's something that's very beautiful about you because you're not going to keep people guessing or keep people wondering about if you're mad or if you're upset or if you're holding a grudge. Like, you're very upfront about it. You're very honest. You're like, hey, Samantha, I know that you've been secretly going inside my room and you've been going inside my hermit crab claw collection for the longest time, my molted hermit crab claws. Get out of there. I didn't tell you could go in there, Samantha. And that's the energy that we have here. And then maybe you kind of like laugh about it. And then you lock up your hermit crab claw collection. Regardless, I feel like you're someone who cuts through all the drama, right? So going forward, I also want to say also is that you're very blunt and that you're a very good conversationalist. I feel like your friends and family members feel like you always know the right thing to say as well. Even if there is a really bad situation, what makes you beautiful is you can diffuse all of these situations very quick and get people back to common ground, get people back into this peaceful energy or this peaceful state. And how beautiful is that, right? Also with the Wheel of Fortune, I think that your family members see you as someone who's incredibly lucky. Maybe you win a lot of like radio station kind of giveaways or contests, or maybe online. Maybe you're someone who just wins a lot of awards in general, but they definitely see you as someone who's very lucky and someone who the universe is turning in your favor, probably because of the fact that you are so generous, you are so loving and forthcoming and caring. But they really, really do think it's beautiful, the fact that you are someone who doesn't take things so personally. You don't take things to heart. You know, just allow things to kind of flow out naturally and allow things to kind of progress the way that they should, but with some added humor, right? So going on to your next 4 cards, these are your Yuval Moore Tarot cards, and these are talking about what is beautiful about you that you might not necessarily expect to be beautiful. So we have the 4 of Pentacles, the Page of Wands, the 5 of Swords again, and the World card. Okay, so right off the bat, wow, with the 4 of Pentacles, this is talking about someone who, you know, I feel like you retain a lot of information. This could be holding on to money, it could be holding on to grudges, but I really don't feel like it's that. I feel like you're someone who retains a lot of information. You retain a lot of knowledge and a lot of wisdom, and that's what you hold on to. I feel like you hold on to a lot of facts. You might even have a photographic memory, or maybe you're someone who just remembers things very easily. You're very good with dates, very good with numbers. Now with the Page of Wands, I feel like you're someone who is definitely going off. You're starting off brand new. You know, maybe in a way you wouldn't even necessarily think that that's something that's beautiful because you're starting off from the ground up. But that's something that people really appreciate about you, is the fact that you are a self-starter and the fact that you do start from the bottom and just kind of slowly make your way to the next cycle or the next chapter in your life. You learn from these hardships as well, and you start over brand new. And that's also the message of the salamander. I love how we started with the King of Wands and then we go to the Page of Wands. So it's definitely talking about the fact that you're someone who doesn't mind starting over brand new again. It's definitely that transformation sort of an energy with the forest kind of burning and then growing back lusher. I feel like you're definitely destroying, any cycles that no longer serve you. You're getting rid of any kind of hardships as well, or any sort of maybe even mentalities that you can't do this or you can't achieve your goals, and you're only focusing on the positive. But I feel like what makes you beautiful is the fact that you do honor these emotions. You do feel these kind of feelings and these kind of emotions going forward, especially about endings of maybe relationships or endings of cycles in general, especially with the Wheel of Fortune. When I say the World and the Wheel of Fortune, it's definitely talking about an ending that has kind of run its course, and it had to happen. It happened for a reason. And the thing that is beautiful about you is that even though you're starting over fresh and you're still kind of mournful about whatever this is, it could even be maybe you lost a job, maybe you and someone you really love broke up, it could just be anything kind of leaving your life. It could just be a brand new way of living. It could even be during the pandemic, having to adapt to a brand new way of living has caused a lot of anxieties or worries, or maybe even has kind of lowered your positivity. And with the World card, this is saying that even though you get to these very low moments, that closes out very quickly. It's like you hold on to the emotions and the feelings and the worries just long enough to process them, just long enough to harness the lesson and harness the information and the wisdom that comes with them. And then you kindly say goodbye to the feelings and emotions, and then you go on to being the King of Wands again, right? And how beautiful is that? It's almost like working your way through kind of the motions, if you will. But what you might not expect about what makes you beautiful as well is the fact that you handle change so graciously. And that's something that people like a lot about you. And, it might seem a little bit silly because maybe you're like, well, I get really emotional and I'm really in my feelings when all of this happens. But people really appreciate that about you. People really appreciate that you are honest, you're upfront, you wear your heart on your sleeve about these situations. And maybe you also warn your friends then. Like if you see red flags in someone else's relationship after this, I feel like you tell people, and I feel like you're upfront, like, Jessica, this person that I see you dating is not a good person, and here's why, X, 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 and X, and I feel like you are able to kind of lay it out very plainly for Jessica in a way that isn't going to hurt her feelings, but in a way that kind of warns her, like, just keep an eye on this. Like, it's not that this person's a bad person in general, but it's just that maybe you shouldn't be putting your full trust in this person yet. And I feel like you pick up on that very easily because of your own hardships and your own maybe even miscommunications or your own worries or fears. So going forward onto your last few cards, these are your Enchanted Tarot cards, and these are talking about closing messages on what makes you beautiful. So we have number 20, Judgment, the Ace of Pentacles, number 18, the Moon, the Three of Hearts, and the Three of Wands. Woohoo! So we have a lot of synchronicities throughout this reading. We have 4-4, we have 5-5, we have 3-3. So maybe you're also someone who sees a lot of synchronicities. Maybe you post online a lot of your synchronicities. Maybe you take screenshots and post them, or maybe you like to just post at different times when it is a synchronicity. Regardless, look up all those meanings, 333, 444, 555, and those are all going to kind of go more in depth about what makes you beautiful and what makes you you. 55 is talking about change, and it can be a little bit hard, but you're going to overcome it, you're going to persevere. 44 is talking about stability, finding that stability, and quite fast as well, because if you were to add it up, it would be the number 8. It's talking about dedication, determination, and really getting yourself out there, whereas the 3s are talking about harmony, peacefulness, being at one with yourself, with your mind, your body, and your spirit, right? And how beautiful is that? Now, the Three of Hearts and the Three of Wands are both very, very beautiful energies, because it's saying stay in this joyful energy, stay in celebration, stay in good times, and that's what's going to bring your abundances in. That's what's going to bring your ships in as well. The Three of Wands is talking about waiting for your ships to come in, or waiting for yourself to kind of get on the ship and kind of set sail off into your next kind of destination going forward. But with the Moon card, the number 18 would be the number 9, again talking about spirituality, talking about trusting yourself, trusting your intuition, knowing that you are receiving the correct messages going forward, that you are one of a kind as well. The Moon card can also be talking about how even though everything isn't necessarily in the light right now, that you're someone who still trusts their intuition, you're still someone who pushes forward, and you're someone who lights your own path, and that's very beautiful as well. I feel like you have a very big spiritual team behind you too, a lot of archangels, maybe even a lot of patron gods or goddesses, but definitely your ancestors as well. And I feel like you're being applauded, because do you see how the hands on the Judgment card almost look like someone giving a round of applause? That's what I feel like the energy here is for you, that you really are going to be getting a lot of recognition from the people who find you beautiful and that really adore you. You know, and maybe you feel a little bit uncomfortable from time to time getting this recognition, but I feel like the universe is saying that's also something that makes you beautiful, is the fact that you aren't like, oh yes, praise me, peasants. You know, you're someone who is very gracious and very humble and very happy when you do get praise and when you do get recognition. Now, also with number 20, Judgment, this makes me think that you're someone who will forgive and forget, that you're not someone who's going to like easily trust again, but you're definitely someone who will hear someone out. You're someone who will give someone a second chance. You're also someone, maybe you've had your own second chance at life. You know, maybe you have overcome an addiction. Maybe you have overcome some really hard kind of trials and tribulations in your life. And congratulations if you have. I'm really proud of you, right? But you're starting over brand new with the Ace of Pentacles, starting over fresh. Maybe that's even why we have the Page of Wands here, because it's literally talking about starting over from a clean slate, basically, right? And really enjoying that you have this clean slate to work on. Now, also have a good time, because when you have a good time, that's when people find you the most beautiful. There's actually a quote online that says a smile can make people's facial structure a lot like nicer, and it's not even about the teeth, it's just about like the way the cheeks move up and the way that the cheeks like complement the eyes. It makes people seem a lot softer and a lot kinder, and you know, it makes people a lot happier. So definitely I feel like people really love your smile as well. I feel like they really love the fact that you really present yourself very nicely too. I feel like you have a very kind of regal vibe to you. And yeah, oh my goodness, this was a great stack. You're incredibly intelligent, stack 3. I hope that you know that, and I hope that you are proud of your wisdom, proud of your intelligence, and proud of your independence, okay? So definitely let me know in the comments down below if this resonated. I would love to hear. I love you guys' comments so much. I read each and every single one. I hope that you guys are doing amazing though. Make sure to leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and also hit subscribe if you have not already. Also make sure to hit that bell icon to be notified every time that I upload a brand new reading. All of my links will be in the description box down below for my personal readings and for kind of everything else, right? For my craft and so on and so forth. I'll also be leaving all of the names of the tarot cards and oracle cards that I used in this reading so you guys can find them online. And yeah, I hope to see you guys in the next reading. I hope that you're doing amazing, and I will see you soon. Bye! Hello to everyone who chose stack 4. Let's get right into your reading and see what makes you beautiful. So right off the bat, I love that you chose the purple peppermint with the rose quartz and the pink color card. This is definitely talking about someone, regardless of gender, who is in their divine feminine energies. You are someone who is caring, nurturing, motherly, understanding, appreciative, generous as well. I feel like you're someone who is sentimental, sensitive, maybe even in your spiritual side. I feel like you're someone who receives a lot of intuitive hits from the universe. You might pick up on a lot of synchronicities as well, and I feel like you share it with other people. You might also be birthing some brand new ideas into existence or into being. Some of you might literally be pregnant, and that's something that people find very beautiful about you right now. But otherwise, with this sort of a pink, beautiful energy as well, I feel like you're caring, you're compassionate, you're understanding, and you're open. You're someone who is very non-judgmental. You're not going to put expectations or put judgments onto people prematurely or even just at all, right? I feel like you're you're someone who very much goes with the flow. You're very loving and you're very sweet. You're very bubbly as well. Now, also with this rose quartz, I feel like those of you that pick this pile, your self-care is something that makes you very beautiful and attractive to other people as well. The fact that you can say no and just be like, I'm gonna just drink a bottle of wine and watch that new Netflix series, right? I feel like that's something that makes you very attractive. The fact that also you're someone who maybe spends a little bit more time on a skincare routine, or maybe there's just something that you do in your day that's just a little bit more lavish. You know how to take care of yourself. You know how to provide for yourself as well. It's also this energy of work hard, play hard at the same time. So while you are also making that money and really putting yourself out there, you also know how to apply it back to yourself. You know how to take care of yourself and nurture yourself as well. And that's something that makes you very beautiful. Now, also with this purple peppermint, it makes me feel like maybe you are someone who, again, is very intuitively gifted. Maybe you are someone who is a medium, an empath. Maybe you are an indigo child as well. Regardless, I feel like you're a natural born leader and you do things in a way that is unique to you. It's beautiful to you. And that's something that people just can't get enough of, right? So going forward onto your first card, this is your Animal Druid Oracle card, and this is talking about the overall energy that makes you beautiful. Woohoo! So Phoenix, oh my goodness. So you have definitely been through a lot of trials and tribulations, a lot of challenges, but a lot of growth at the same time. And with all of this growth, you gained a lot of wisdom, a lot of lessons learned, and I feel like you're someone who's incredibly intelligent now, as well as wise. I feel like you're someone who has experienced so many different cycles throughout your lifetime, maybe even so many different chapters closing as well, and it was a little bit draining, not gonna lie. It was something that was incredibly hard, but you rose from it and you became someone who was empowered, someone who could stand up for themselves, someone who is on fire. This girl is on fire, right? It's literally that energy. I feel like you are someone who cannot be stopped, you cannot be tamed, right? I feel like you are just someone who is incredibly original, you are imaginative, you are in that sort of childlike energy as well, and people can't help but feel very drawn to you, and especially your passions. I feel like you're someone who is a jack of all trades, and yeah, sure, the whole quote is a jack of all trades but a master of none, but it's better to be a master of none than just a master of one. And that's very much the energy that we have here, is that you're someone who dabbles in so many different things. I feel like you have a lot of different irons in the fire here, right? But even though you're multitasking and you have a lot of different things on your plate, maybe you're someone who's deciding to write a book, but you're also opening a ski lodge, and you're also doing this, and you're also deciding to become a full-time paleontologist. Like, there's just so much that you're doing all at once, but people really love that about you. The fact that you can think very quick on your toes as well, and you can implement something to make the situation a little bit better. I feel like you're someone who's also very sly, someone who's very cunning, but in a very kind of well thought out, sort of a meticulous way. Maybe some of you are over analyzers, overthinkers as well. I keep hearing overachiever, but not in a bad way. I think that you're just someone who might be a little bit of a perfectionist, so you want to go above and beyond for people, especially if you're doing something for another person. You're someone who wants to make sure that they are completely happy with whatever they are getting. You want to make sure that they are completely happy with your services, just with you in general. I think that you just want to make sure that people are happy overall, right? You're a crowd pleaser, if you will, maybe even a class clown growing up. Now, also with this Phoenix energy, after the Phoenix cools down, it turns into a beautiful peacock, and that is very much your energy. After all of these hardships, you really learned how to reinvent yourself into something better, into something more transformative, but there definitely was some form of a catalyst in your life that inspired this glow up and that inspired you to become something much bigger than yourself, right? And how incredible is that? That is something that makes you very beautiful. You inspire a lot of people as well. A lot of people really look up to you. For some of you, maybe you have a chronic illness, or maybe you have a disability, and you really overcame that. You know, you found a way to push yourself forward and to achieve your goals and your dreams, even with these limitations. And I feel like people find that incredibly beautiful as well. The fact that you're someone who keeps persevering, the fact that you're someone who keeps pushing forward as well. Even when the going gets tough, you just keep on going, right? I feel like it's kind of like shark energy as well in this pile, where you just have to keep moving forward. You have to keep going on. Now, going on to your next few cards, before we get into them, I also want to say, with the red border, I feel like you're someone who's very vivacious, you're very passionate, maybe even very in your face as well. For some of you, maybe you have some earth in your chart. You could even have Leo, because it's just kind of this energy of being kind of like the greatest showman, right? I keep hearing, this is the greatest show. But I feel like you put on a show for those around you, not in a bad way, but people are always entertained. People are always just happy around you. You have a really great sense of humor, but it's also because, you really strive to make people feel understood. You strive to make people feel comfortable and happy, and maybe even to make people laugh, right? Maybe you're just someone who really, really appreciates when the people around you are laughing and their cheeks are hurting from smiling so much, right? Now, going on to your next 3 cards, these are your animal messages cards, and these are talking about some characteristics, qualities, and traits that make you beautiful. So we have cheetah, quail, Hawaiian owl, and emu. Woohoo! Okay, so right off the bat, oh my goodness, emu and cheetah are both very fast-acting animals. They both can run like that. They zoom, right? So maybe you're someone who is constantly zooming into new ideas, into new activities, into new adventures, or new perspectives or outlooks. Maybe even constantly reinventing yourself. Maybe you're deciding tomorrow, hey, I'm going to just kind of cut off all my hair into a bob and I'm gonna color it all blue, right? And I'm living for it. Oh my goodness, I love that sort of an energy where you're not bound to one expectation of yourself, or you're not bound to what you should be doing or what you should be. And that's what people find very beautiful about you, as well as the fact that you don't have to fit into a box for certain people. You don't have to fit a mold, and that's something that's incredibly beautiful about you. Now, with emu, really quick, because I'm being drawn to him first, it says this is a good time to go on a new adventure. And I feel like that's your overall energy, is you're someone who wants to go out adventuring. You want to go have a good time. You want to feel your hair blowing in the wind, right? And maybe that's something that people really love about you. You are the ideal adventure buddy. You are someone who would be amazing to have on a road trip. You would be someone that would probably even pack a really good picnic. Maybe you're an incredible cook. But there's just this energy of you that no matter where you go, no matter what sort of a circumstance you find yourself in, you're going to make a good time out of it. You're going to find the silver lining, you're going to find the bright side, and you're going to find a way to laugh at the situation. There's actually a card that I'm thinking of in another oracle deck, one of mine that I'm actually working on, and the quote is that today's misfortunes is basically just something that we'll laugh at tomorrow, and another quote is basically that anything can be funny if you know how to joke about it. And I feel like that's your sort of an energy, is like, we can laugh at anything. Let's try to break the ice here. Maybe you're someone who likes to laugh at sort of serious topics as well, but it's not because you're belittling the subject. I think it's because that's how you cope with these things. Maybe it's kind of a comforting measure on your behalf as well. But regardless, with cheetah too, it says get clear on your intentions, stay focused, and move quickly to achieve your goal. So again, you're someone who is very passionate, very dedicated, and determined. When you have your eyes set on something, that is it. You're going to achieve it, and there is nothing and no one that can stand in your way to keep you from achieving these goals, right? The phoenix cannot be held down. The phoenix is literally fire incarnate. So that is your energy. No one can hold you back, no one can hold you down, and that's something that makes you very beautiful. You're also very independent too. I feel like you just kind of go wherever the wind takes you, wherever the universe will lead you. Everything happens for a reason, right? But I think that you also really decide that whenever spirit or whenever the universe puts you on a brand new path, you're not going to question it. In The Prince of Egypt, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but when Moses is basically asking his mother, I love this movie, I grew up with this, asking his mother, like, well, why did all this happen? Why am I a Prince of Egypt now? She's like, when the gods send you a blessing, you don't ask why it was sent. And I feel like that's very much your energy, is you're like, I'm not going to ask why my ancestors and why the universe want me to have this brand new thing, or this brand new job, or this brand new partnership, or this brand new house. I'm just going to accept it. I'm going to live it up. I'm going to make the best out of the situation. I'm going to make this house a home. I'm going to work on myself. I'm going to work on my independence. But you always make the best out of every trial and tribulation. And that is something that is incredibly attractive and incredibly beautiful about you, Stack 4. Oh my goodness. I honestly can't stress that enough. I feel like that's something that overall people just really love, your independence and the fact that there's nothing that can hold you down. Even things that maybe people would look at you and they'd say, wow, if I had that going on in my life, I don't know if I could keep going on. Maybe people even say to you, like, you're so brave, but there was no choice other than to be brave. Maybe that's even what you're going to tell people as well. There was nothing else that I could do other than to be brave, other than to just kind of keep moving forward. And maybe that's your energy here that people find very beautiful as well, is the fact that you are someone who just is brave, you know, and just kind of puts on that brave face and just keeps pushing forward. You're very resilient, very persistent as well. Now with Pueo, everybody say Pueo, Pueo. Now it says your ancestral spirit guides are offering you guidance now, so pay close attention to signs and omens from them. So again, you're very spiritually inclined. I feel like you receive a lot of synchronicities, a lot of messages. You could even work with divinatory tools such as oracle cards, tarot cards, pendulums, so on and so forth. But I feel like you're someone who isn't, even though you like to just kind of jump into the next situation, this is kind of bringing us back to that slow and meticulous energy of being an overthinker that I was talking about earlier with the Phoenix card. Because of the fact that we have Pueo perched here, I feel like that's your sort of an energy where you're like, I don't want to just jump into action all willy-nilly. I have to think this through first. And maybe you think things through so meticulously to the point where it almost drives you crazy, and then you're like, I have to go do this thing now. I have to go do it. I've thought about every possible outcome. I've thought about every possible thing that could go right and that could go wrong. I'm ready to just go now. And maybe that's your energy, is your spirit guides from time to time too. You know, they like to send you these synchronicities and these signs, so then that way you can just get going, right? Then we can get into all of these action cards here. Now, another thing that I really want to bring up is the fact that we have some green around the sides, or kind of the borders here in these cards, and that's talking about stability, foundation, firm foundation at that you're someone who is very comfortable in yourself and comfortable in your own skin. I feel like you guys definitely meditate. Maybe you just take care of yourself. Maybe you even have like healing self-love and self-care baths as well, maybe with special bath salts. Maybe you also add crystals in with your bath water. But I definitely feel like there's this vibe of just taking care of yourself, and people finding that very, very beautiful, that you're not going to settle for less. Now, also with the orange background, I love all of the oranges because, again, it talks about someone who's excitable, someone who's very passionate, someone who is fun-loving, warm, vivacious, who's very open as well. Maybe your body language is also very open. You know, I feel like you're the type of person who would try anything once, and if you don't like it, then yeah, you'll never do it again, but at least you can say that you tried. I feel like that's something that is really kind of your claim to fame in your friend group, or even when you get into new friend groups. I keep hearing that when you get into new relationships, I feel like even your partner's friends really end up liking you because of the fact that you're down to do anything. You know, you're just happy to be there, and I feel like that's something people really appreciate about you. So going forward onto your next two cards, these are your Animal Totem Tarot cards, and these are talking about more energies that make you beautiful. So we have the Death card and the Temperance card. Beautiful. Okay, so both major arcana. That's incredible. So definitely talking about the fact that you're someone who has been through your changes, you have matured, you've leveled up, you have gained experience through these trials and tribulations as well. You're someone who is very patient too. I feel like you take your time in every aspect of life, even when you're just kind of jumping in. Again, I feel like it's something that you have thought out. So maybe people are seeing you as someone who is just going from one thing to the next, just all willy-nilly and all haphazard. But that couldn't be any farther from the truth. I feel like it's almost coming all together like puzzle pieces. And, you know, it's almost like it's all going to make sense in a few years, or, you know, maybe even a few days or a few weeks. But it always is going to make sense because you've already planned it out. You have already kind of pulled all of your resources together and decided how you're going to make this work and what you're going to do next going forward. So also with the Death card, again, you've been through your own transformations, your own sort of metamorphosis. And I feel like that has brought you into this sort of egoless being. And it's not to say that you don't struggle with ego. Everyone does, right? That's being human. But I feel like you're someone who is really reining it in. I feel like you're learning how to love yourself unconditionally and then love other people unconditionally as well. How to just be happy with where you are in the present time. Maybe for some of you in the past, it was a whole kind of mindset that you had to sort of get over, and that's something that made you very beautiful as well, was as you transformed out of this mindset of maybe lack or I have to control all the small details, you slowly gave in and you slowly just kind of let go and, you know, went with the universe, and now you're in this beautiful flamingo energy where you're balanced, you're in your equilibrium, you're taking care of yourself, and that's something that's incredibly beautiful. Also, the fact that, again, with the silver linings, you know, you're always someone who's looking at the bright side, and that's something that people really appreciate about you. I feel like you're someone who might also know a lot of trivia, or maybe you're someone who is really hip on different folklores. So you're someone who tells the greatest campfire stories, and maybe even just stories in general. I feel like you have a really great imagination. So even if you had to make up a story for people around a campfire, I feel like you would entertain everyone a lot, right? Now also with the death card, I feel like, maybe there was, for some of you, maybe you're a Scorpio or a Sagittarius as well. I just kind of wanted to throw that out there. But with the death card, this is definitely also talking about someone who has had to close out a lot of chapters to people who maybe they thought were going to last the long term or the long haul in their life, and it was something that just wasn't feasible for your growth, for your experience, and for your lessons as well, right? And I feel like that's something that you've also gained perspective on, was that people aren't in your life forever sometimes. Sometimes they're just in to teach us a specific lesson, and that way we can grow, we can become better, and we can evolve into the best version of ourselves, right? Into the glowing, beautiful, pink, shrimp-colored existence that we are, right? And I love that we have both pink colors here. So it's definitely talking about that sort of kind of centered divine femininity as well. Now going forward onto your next two cards, these are your Secrets of the Mystic Grove cards, and these are talking about more qualities that make you beautiful. So we have number 22, beauty. Oh my goodness, so some of you are just incredibly beautiful to begin with, and that makes sense, especially with the phoenix, because when they cool down, they're the peacock, and nothing is more beautiful in the bird peacock, or the bird kingdom, than the peacock. There we go. Now with also we have the number 3, ask. Wow, wow, wow. Okay, so 3 and 4, maybe you're someone who likes to take things one step at a time. You like to pace yourself. Maybe there's also times where you get a little bit ahead of yourself, and people find that really adorable. I think that they find that very beautiful as well, when your eyes light up and you just get so excited about a certain topic or a certain maybe activity that you're going to be doing later that day. I feel like people just think you have such a beautiful childlike innocence about you, like you're wearing rose-colored glasses, if you will. Now also with the number 3, this is talking about harmony, peacefulness, being at one with yourself, being at one with the mind, the body, and the spirit. So then that way you can make really good decisions. So you're an incredible decision maker as well. You have a very good head on your shoulders. I feel like you're someone who takes on a lot of responsibilities as well. Maybe you bite off a little bit more than you can chew because you think that you can handle it. And it's not to say that you can't. I think that you always do. I think that it always comes around at the end of the day. But that's something that maybe you've also had to learn how to rein in a little bit as well. And that's something that people find very beautiful too, is that they can ask you for help, but you're also going to keep your boundaries, and you also know when enough is enough, right? Now with ask, it says launch, soar, and request. So people definitely feel like they can come to you with any request, any worry, any fear, any anxiety that they might have. They almost see you as kind of like a spiritual advisor or a divine mother. I genuinely wouldn't be surprised if we see a Queen of Cups come out somewhere in this reading, just because you are someone who is in your feelings. You're very sensitive, you're very sentimental, you're very understanding. I feel like you're just someone who likes to kind of connect to people on a different level as well, rather than just surface level. Now with launch and soar, you also inspire other people to launch into their best lives. It's almost like maybe you give them advice or you give them inspiration in some sort of a way that they can take that and then they can go off and make their career. They can make a life for themselves. But it's all because you gave them that inspiration or that kind of extra push or that extra shove that they needed to be able to continue forward. Now with the number 22, this would be the number 4, and it's talking about stability. It's talking about firm foundations, maybe even building a house. Maybe for some of you, you literally built a house. Maybe you're carpenters, maybe you are just very crafty, maybe some of you kind of saved up enough money to be able to move out, to be able to get your own apartment. Maybe you're actively working on saving your money as well, and that's something that people find very beautiful about you too. But overall, just your beauty. I feel like not only are you beautiful on the inside, but you're beautiful on the outside as well. Regardless of gender, you are someone who is just incredibly attractive. Oh my goodness. And I feel like it's also because of your self-esteem and your self-confidence in the way that you view yourself, or at least just the way that you put yourself out there in the public eye. You know, maybe it really comes off on social media as well, that you're someone who is just very proud to be who you are. You're very confident. You know, you feel good in your skin. You feel good about your body. You feel like you look really good, and you do, right? And it shows. You have this glow about you when you're talking about yourself more beautiful. And I keep doing this with my hands, so for some of you, maybe you're really curvy. I don't know. But it could be that you're just incredibly curvy. You're very thick. I'm thick too. Hey, thick girls, we gotta stick together. Now, with the strength here too, this is talking about the fact that you're someone who is very strong. Now, not only traditionally, but also very mentally as well. Now, with strength, maybe some of you literally are working in construction. Maybe some of you build decks. Maybe some of you, maybe you guys construct birdhouses or like bee houses as well, beehives. I don't know. But there's something that you do that people just find so incredible about you, whether that be crocheting, knitting, fiber spinning, maybe even making little hats for people. I just feel like there's this energy that you do it so incredibly well, and that's another added aspect of what makes you beautiful. I love how we were asking what makes you beautiful, and we literally get the beauty card. Like, you guys were the only pile that got the beauty card, and that's incredible, because that's literally talking about the fact of your just entire being is beautiful. Just you being here and gracing people with your presence is beautiful, right? Not to blow smoke, but I genuinely feel like people just really appreciate your presence. They just really appreciate your energy. You have a very healing energy. You have a very loving energy. Maybe people feel healed when they're around you as well. So maybe you attract a lot of kind of broken people, or people who are hurt, or people who are learning how to mend themselves or heal themselves back together, which can be a little bit frustrating for you. But I think that you also realize that you are someone who is a divine teacher, someone who is meant to help a lot of other people on this path as well, not just yourself, right? So going on to your next 4 cards, these are your Ethereal Visions cards, and these are talking about more qualities and characteristics that make you beautiful. The Queen of Cups, there we go. Okay, so definitely nurturing motherly energy. The 5 of Wands, okay, some of you are very competitive. The King of Cups, whoa, okay, so, oh, and the 10 of Cups, oh my gosh, some of you are incredible partners, you're incredible parents. It doesn't matter if you have actual children, like human children, or if you have fur babies, maybe reptile babies, scale babies, you are the best parent to those babies. Regardless of gender, you are the most amazing plant parent. You are the most amazing parent in general. You're an incredible sibling too. I feel like you're someone who just is really good at bringing people together. I feel like you're a mediator. You're someone who brings a lot of harmony, a lot of love, and a lot of people really respect you and honor you. Now, the funny thing is that we have the Queen of Cups and the King of Cups on either side of the 5 of Wands. So it could even be that for some of you, you have to be the mediator for a lot of people, maybe for your mother and father. That's only going to be for a select few of you. That's something that makes you beautiful. But another thing that is really sticking out to me is that with the 5 of Wands, maybe when this kind of hassle starts to break out, this rumble, if you will, hey, get out of here, there's a rumble going on. You come in and you're like, why are you guys rumbling? What's going on? Like, there's nothing in this world that you should be rumbling about. We're a family. Let's get back on track, right? And that's your energy, and people love that about you. People find that so beautiful. You can be able to go in there and find common ground between all of these different people. Now, another thing that I want to talk about is the fact that you are in your divine masculine and in your divine feminine as well. So you're very balanced. Again, talking about that sort of equilibrium. People that maybe enter your life, or you enter their life sort of unexpectedly, they see you as a gift from the universe. They see you as literally a gift from the heavens, because you are someone who is so gracious, someone who is so beautiful to be around. It's not just abundant in like successes, but it's abundance and happiness. It's abundance and love. And I also want to say, notice the rainbow in the background. This is the second image that we have with a rainbow. So maybe some of you are LGBTQ+, maybe some of you are allies, maybe some of you are kind of going out there and you're speaking up for people who have lost their voice as well. Oh my gosh, so it's even kind of pointing to the right. So maybe for some of you, maybe you had to move like to the East Coast. It could be wherever you're living. That could even just be for like a select few of you regardless. But I definitely feel like people see you as being the pot of gold on the other side of the rainbow, if you will, because you're just so beautiful and so divine. You know, I feel like you're someone who is just, everything that they could ever want in a partner, right? And not to sound like cliche, but I definitely get that vibe with the Ten of Cups and with the Queen of Cups and the King of Cups. You're nurturing, you're affectionate. Maybe you're someone who's very affectionate to your friends and family members and the people that you love in general. Maybe you're someone who loves to give really long hugs, you like to kiss, you like to hold hands. Maybe you're someone as well who is a really good babysitter. Maybe for some of you, you have a lot of maybe nieces and nephews. Maybe you have a lot of siblings in general, and maybe you can kind of come in and you can cause there to be peace amongst everyone, right? Now, another thing that I want to talk about with the Ten of Cups is that regardless of what's going on, I feel like you're able to come in and make everyone feel comfortable again, feel safe, feel secure, feel happy. And how beautiful is that? You can't get much more beautiful than that, to be honest. With the King of Cups, it's going to also be talking about moodiness. I think that people really love the fact that you are moody. I think that they find that very beautiful. I think that the fact that you feel your emotions so deeply and so just profoundly, that is something that makes you incredibly attractive. I feel like you kind of wear your heart on your sleeve, so to speak, so you're never going to be holding in your emotions or holding in these grudges or holding in bad thoughts. I feel like you're very open with the people around you, and if you have a bone to pick with someone, you're going to be very upfront, very honest, and very truthful, right? Now, with the Queen of Cups as well, we can see that we have starfish and seahorses here, and both of these creatures, especially the seahorses, they need perfect environment and perfect climate to be able to produce offspring, to be able to just kind of live in general. So if you have them in an aquarium, you know, it's really hard to have that upkeep, to maintain them. People who aren't experienced in fish probably can't keep seahorses for all that long because of the fact that they are so advanced and so skilled. And maybe that's the same energy that people think about you, that you're someone who is so well read, you're well educated, you're well to do as well. And maybe people feel a little bit intimidated by that. Maybe people feel like you're a little bit high maintenance, even though you're not. I feel like you're someone who is incredibly down to earth. I feel like you're someone who is very humble as well. Maybe you're very happy just going out on a date and eating peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and calling it a day, right? You're someone who doesn't need this grand show of affection or love or money to be able to win your affections or win your trust. And that's something that people find very beautiful about you, but people might not kind of expect it from you. Maybe people would expect that you'd be like, oh yeah, show me the money, right? But I feel like you guys are just incredibly caring. But I feel like it's also because you take care of yourself. You know, you make sure that you're always smelling good. You make sure that you always look good. Your hair is always done. And at the very least, I feel like you're someone who just always showers before you go somewhere. So I feel like for some of you, maybe your friends and family members constantly see you with wet hair because you don't want to blow dry it before you go out. That's only for a select few, but I did want to put it out there. But you definitely groom yourself very, very nicely, and you clean up very well, right? Now, going on to your next 4 cards, these are going to be your Crow Tarot cards, and these are talking about how your friends and family members view you and what they find beautiful about you. I also want to say that with that sort of high maintenance energy, maybe people think that you make a little bit more money than you do as well, or that you are just someone who is used to a higher caliber in life, or a higher level, I guess, a higher expectation. But I feel like that can't be further from the truth. So we have the 3 of Pentacles, the Tower card, the Page of Swords, and Temperance again. Oh, wow. Okay, so this is definitely talking about balance. It's talking about patience. Your friends and family members really love your patience. They love the fact that you don't just kind of rush into things. You think things through. You're very much an overthinker. I definitely think that you're someone who will stress yourself out with that at times. Maybe you're someone who likes to lay in bed at night and just kind of think about every scenario that could possibly be going on. Now, also with Temperance, I feel like your friends and family members definitely see you as someone who is being divinely guided, someone who is maybe even very spiritually protected. Maybe they see you as someone who surrounds yourself with a lot of crystals, a lot of maybe even, I don't know, for some of you, maybe evil eyes. Maybe some of you like to do egg cleanses, or maybe some of you just like to do Reiki cleanses in general, maybe even some past life life regressions or meditations, but your friends and family members definitely pick up on that. They also see you as someone who is very close to your ancestors, very close to your roots, very close to your heritage, and that's something that they find very beautiful about you, but also the fact that you're someone who can mix cups very easily. This goes all the way back to that sort of mediator energy that we were talking about, and the fact that you're forthcoming, the fact that you're loving, understanding, and kind of quiet. Maybe even for some of you, you're a little bit shy with this Queen of Cups energy. And especially with the Page of Swords, I feel like maybe some of you post on social media, maybe you guys have a lot of followers on your social media accounts, maybe you're an influencer, but I definitely feel like your friends and family members love to see the things that you post. Maybe you post a lot of really funny memes, maybe you're someone who just likes to post little quotes here and there, or song lyrics, or maybe even playlists, and your friends and family members love that about you. They find that so beautiful, and that's something that they never want you to stop doing. They never want you to stop expressing yourself, because again, maybe some of you are a little bit shy or a little bit hesitant about expressing yourself, but your friends and family members definitely also notice the fact that you are someone who has been through hardships. You have been through disappointments throughout your life. You've been through shakeups as well, and transformations that have had to lead to metamorphosis, that have had to lead to you going about things in a completely different way, reinventing yourself and reinventing what makes you you, and how to pursue yourself going forward as well. Now, with the Three of Pentacles, your friends and family members love how busy you are. You keep busy. I feel like you're someone who's always working, and even when you are relaxing, you could be sitting on the couch, you're still working to some extent. Maybe you are looking at business emails, or you are crafting something that you might sell in the future, but you're always doing something. I keep hearing idle hands or the devil's workshop, so maybe that's your sort of an energy, is that when you're not doing something, when you're not keeping your mind preoccupied or busy, I feel like you're worrying, or maybe you're stressing or you're fretting about something. And that's something that your friends and family members definitely pick up on, but they also really appreciate the fact that you're someone who cooperates very easily. You're someone who believes in teamwork. You're someone who just gets along with others incredibly well, right? Now, going on to your next few cards, these are your Yuval More Tarot cards, and these are talking about what is beautiful about you that you might not necessarily expect to be beautiful. So we have the 10 of Wands, beautiful already, the 8 of Wands, the 2 of Pentacles, and the Justice card. Okay, so right off the bat, what makes you beautiful that you might not expect? Your hardships. There we go. So I love how we were just touching and talking about that with the Tower, but I feel like every moment that you stumbled or that you fell down, you just kind of picked yourself up and you kept going forward. And that's something that people found very beautiful about you, and that's something that the universe finds very beautiful as well. Something that you might not necessarily expect, or it's something that you might not necessarily even know that people know about you, is the fact that people see you as a very hard worker, that you're someone who's going to go above and beyond for the things that you want to achieve and the things that you want to accomplish. Now, also with the 8 of Wands, this is talking about the fact that you're an incredible communicator. You're someone who is very fast forward in movement as well. Again, you make a lot of progress in your life. I feel like you're someone who deserves a lot of recognition for the fact that you have found ways to maybe even make the path ahead a little bit easier. Like, look, this sorry sap has been carrying around these wands on his back all day. Doesn't he know he can just witchcraft it back home? Like, it's simple things like that. Maybe you're someone who's really big into life hacks, or maybe you're someone who is like, well, if I take a shortcut over here and I just chuck these as far as I can just run the rest of the way and then just chuck them again, right? And that's how you make ground. It might not be practical to everyone else, or it might not be something that everyone else thinks about, but it's something that you do. I feel like you're someone who thinks outside of the box. You're very ingenuitive, you're very creative, you're very crafty, you're very resourceful too. I feel like you're someone who, if you have like $1, you're going to know how to be able to stretch that dollar and how to be able to maximize it as well, regardless of where you are. Now, another thing that makes you very beautiful is the fact that no matter where you are, I feel like you have a very good sense of direction. Not gonna lie, for some of you, I feel like you're someone who would probably not get lost even if you were in the middle of the woods. You would follow a stream. You have very good common sense in that way. Maybe some of you have very good survival skills in general. Maybe some of you took survival courses, or you took maybe even tracking courses kind of outside and like camping courses. But regardless, you have a lot of outside smarts, if you will, but you've overcome a lot of obstacles and a lot of maybe even blockages throughout this journey. Now, with the Two of Pentacles, this is talking about balance. It's talking about coming to that equilibrium, but still kind of juggling. You know, maybe while you are making this fast forward movement, while you are pacing yourself and running ahead, you're still balancing, you know, maybe the worries, maybe the fears, maybe the expectations. Maybe you're also just balancing family life with your career. Maybe you're balancing relationship with your career as well, or with your family life. So there's definitely this constant juggling, and the fact that you find enough time for all of it somehow is so admirable and is so beautiful. And I feel like that's something people really appreciate about you, is that you're not missing anything. You're in the thick of it, but somehow you get it all done, and people really find that beautiful. Now, with the Justice card, people see you as someone who is going to be reaping exactly what they have sown, someone who is going to get exactly what they deserve. And in this case, it's something great, because I feel like you have helped a lot of people. You have uplifted a lot of people. You have inspired a lot of people as well with your displays of love, with your displays of emotion and affection, and maybe even attention. Just giving people your undivided attention was something that was so inspirational to them and so life-changing that maybe you don't even realize that, but it meant the entire world for someone who didn't feel like they could keep going on. You gave them the strength to be able to make it that little distance back to their home, you know. And while you're over here still kind of juggling all of your work and juggling all of your responsibilities, these people are thriving and they're doing good because of you and because of your advice, because of your wisdom. Now, with the Justice card too, this is also talking about someone who's incredibly fair. I think that your fairness and your generosity is also something that is very beautiful about you. You know that when you do something good, it's going to repay you back in the future, even if it makes you feel a little bit uncomfortable for the time being. Like, let's say you had a Toblerone chocolate bar, right? And all you had left were 2 chocolate squares, and you're like, man, everyone has eaten basically all the chocolate squares. I've only had 1 chocolate squares. This is my Toblerone. But then, like, your sibling comes out and they're like, hey, can I have that Toblerone? I haven't had any Toblerone. And you are there, like, looking at your 2 Toblerone slices. You're looking at your sibling, you're looking at your Toblerone, and you're like, fine, Jerry, just take the Toblerone, right? But I think that's your energy, that you're someone who's just going to help, you know, with no expectations as well, no strings attached on your kindness. Now, going on to your last few cards, these are your Enchanted Tarot cards, and these are talking about closing messages on what makes you beautiful. So we have the Chariot card, the 8 of Swords, the World, the 7 of Wands, the 10 of Swords, and the Prince of Pentacles. Beautiful. Okay, so with the Chariot, again, you're someone who moves very fast. You're someone who is fast acting. Maybe you're fast rising yeast. But regardless, I feel like you guys are getting things done. You're getting things accomplished. You are making money moves. You're making waves and wakes in this world, big wakes. Now, with the number 7, this is talking about authenticity, being true to yourself, following that inner voice as well, following that inner guidance, not settling for less, and not feeling like you have to do things a specific way just because Jessica said that you have to do them that way. Like, no, you're living this life too. Jessica can go do that her way. Now, with the butterfly up top too, it makes me think again of that transformation and how you're someone who, when you felt a little bit stuck or when you felt a little bit trapped, you close that out with the World card. The number 21 would be the number 3, again talking about this energy of freeing yourself, of being at peace, of being at harmony with yourself and with the world around you, with the present moment, learning how to be a little bit more present. And that's something that makes you feel, or makes you very beautiful. And I was going to say makes you feel very beautiful, maybe for some of you as well, but I feel like for the most part, people just see you as someone who is very beautiful because of the fact that even when you have the weight of the world on your shoulders, you don't make a big deal out of it, right? You just keep moving forward. You find a way to persist. Now, with the 8 of Swords too, 8s are talking about strategy. It's talking about moving forward. I also see it as a manifestation number. I see it as when you're finally starting to reap the rewards of the affirmations that you have put out into the universe, or Now, with the Seven of Wands going forward, this is definitely talking about someone who can be a little bit defensive. Maybe you're putting up a fight. It doesn't have to be in a bad way, but it's just saying that you're showing up for yourself. You're showing up for your independence. You're showing up for your self-empowerment, your self-worth. And people are really not only giving you the recognition that you deserve from that, but I feel like people might also be giving you a little bit of a hard time. Maybe people are a little bit jealous because they look at you as someone who literally is in this very pure, loving energy with the Queen of Cups and the King of Cups and the Ten of Cups, right? And maybe people look at you and think, this person is too good to be true. There must be something wrong. There must be something going on with this person, that they aren't so sweet, that they aren't so generous, that they're actually looking for something, right? And I feel like that couldn't be any further from the truth. But with the Ten of Swords, you know, you've experienced your own cycles ending. You have experienced your own disappointments, your own heartbreaks, your own rejections. So you're not someone who is ever going to turn another person away when they are dealing with hardships, when they are dealing with heartbreak. And that's why you're more compassionate as well. That's why you're more empathetic and understanding at this point in your life. And that's what makes you beautiful, is because of the fact that you have went through these closings, because of the fact you have went through this disappointments and all of this kind of sorrow as well. It kind of brings out all of the beautiful sides of life too. It helps you to enjoy the good moments that much more. Now with the Prince of Pentacles as well, you're someone who doesn't mind starting off small and working your way up, working your way from the bottom to the top. And that's something that's very beautiful about you as well. People love how dedicated and determined you are, and the fact that you're someone who puts in a lot of work every day. If we were to see this apple tree in the background, it looks like apples are finally starting to bloom on it. And it takes about 5 years for apple trees to be able to prosper and grow their first fruit. And I feel like that's your energy, is that you're willing to stick it out. You're willing to put in the time to be able to reap your harvest and reap your rewards. So again, you're someone who's just incredibly hardworking. You're very caring, understanding, generous, loving, trustworthy, and loyal. Incredibly loyal. You are honestly the perfect partner. And again, I feel like it's because of the fact that you are in both your divine feminine and your divine masculine here. So definitely let me know what you thought of this stack 4. Thank you so much for watching. Oh my goodness, I had so much fun drawing you guys' cards up. Definitely let me know if this resonated in the comments down below. I love reading you guys' comments so much. It brings me so much happiness. I read each and every one that you guys leave on my page. Also make sure to leave a thumbs up if you enjoyed this, and also make sure to hit subscribe if you have not already, and hit that little bell icon to be notified every time that I upload a brand new reading. And yeah, I will leave all of my links in the description box down below for my personal readings, also for my crafts as well, and so on and so forth. I'll also leave all of the names in the description box down below for all of the tarot decks, so you know exactly what I have used if you resonate with any of them. And yeah, I hope that you are doing amazing stack 4. I hope that you are having a beautiful day, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye! Hello to everyone who chose stack 5. Let's get right into your reading and see what makes you beautiful. So right off the bat, I love that you chose the yellow peppermint with the yellow citrine and the orange color card. Woohoo! This is definitely talking about the fact that you are someone who is very giddy, very childlike, very excitable. It's very much reminiscent of the sun energy as well. I feel like you are a beacon of hope and a beacon of inspiration to a lot of other people in your life as well. I feel like you are someone who inspires other people to do their own healing, because you yourself are working through your own childhood wounds. You're working through your own wounds in general. Maybe some of you kind of suffer from abandonment issues. You know, this could even be from past partnerships not necessarily working out, but that's something that you're working through, and people find that so beautiful that you are working on that. Another thing that people find very beautiful about you is the fact that you are someone who is incredibly mighty. You remind me so much of a lion or of a tiger. If only you would maybe express yourself a little bit more. I feel like maybe those of you that picked this pile, you are a man or woman of very little words. And it's not to say that you don't have a lot to say, because you do. I feel like there's so much on your mind, but at the same time, I feel like you are stretched so thin. You have a lot of responsibilities. You have a lot of things that you have to do. And it's almost like your energy and your aura is going over here and it's going over there, and you're doing this and you're doing that. So by the time you finally get around to maybe talking to your friend Timothy or talking to your friend Cassandra, there's just only so much energy that you can then put into the conversation. So maybe people think that you come off a little bit aloof, but it's honestly just because you are an overworker. I think that you're someone who takes on a lot of responsibilities. You might even bite off a little bit more than you can chew at times. But I definitely feel like people really appreciate that aspect about you as well. I feel like you are someone who doesn't mind taking on extra shifts at work as well, or maybe even taking on an extra workload, especially for a coworker that you might like, that you might kind of be friends with, because you're someone who wants to make sure that everyone's taken care of. I think that you want them to be able to go to that sister's wedding, or you want them to be able to, witness their niece's birth. I just feel like there's this energy of you want everyone to be taken care of, and you want everyone to be able to experience their own life and their own joys. And that doesn't matter if you're going to kind of shoulder a little bit more responsibilities, but with that energy too, I feel like your spirit guides really want you to take a break from time to time. They want you to take some time for yourself. They want you to relax, maybe even smell the flowers, right? You don't always have to be going all the time. I feel like you're someone who, once you have your eye on the prize, that's it. You're determined, you're dedicated, and there's nothing that's going to stop you. There's nothing holding me back. It's very much that Shawn Mendes energy right there, and I love it. So going forward onto your first card, this is going to be your Druid Animal Oracle card, and this is talking about overall what energy makes you beautiful. So we have Rabbit, woohoo! So this is a really beautiful card to get right off the bat with the green border. It's talking about the fact that you are someone who is very stable. You might have Earth in your chart, Taurus, Capricorn, or Virgo, although you do not have to. It could just be talking about the fact that you kind of evoke those traits as well. With Earth signs, you can find that there's a little bit of seriousness or a little bit of aloofness. It doesn't mean that we're all stick in the muds. Honestly, I have a lot of Earth in my chart. It just kind of means that we like things to be just so. We're resourceful. We like to make sure that we are planned, we're prepared, that we are ahead of things, basically. And I feel like that's very much your energy as well. I feel like you're someone who likes to plan ahead. You like to make sure that you have everything that you need, so then it will pan out. And also with the Rabbit, I feel like you're someone who is very fertile in ideas, and also maybe even fertile in the traditional way. Maybe you are a parent already. Maybe you're someone who is expecting, male or female. I feel like you're just someone who also could be creating brand new adventures in life. Maybe you are birthing brand new work-related endeavors into the world. Maybe you are literally creating some sort of new art piece as well that's really going to shake up your life or cause a shake up in your community. Regardless, I feel like there's a lot of good luck on the horizon and good fortune if you don't have it already, and that's something that's going to make you beautiful, is how you receive the good fortune, because you're not going to just hoard it all away to yourself. I feel like you're going to want to share it with other people, and you're going to want to help people to get to that level as well. Maybe people are going to come around and say to you, oh, hey Cassandra, how did you manage to get a stay-at-home career? And you're going to be able to tell them, well, Janny, it was this easy. And you're going to say, you got to do A, B, C, and D, and you're there, baby, boom. And I feel like you're just such a natural born teacher as well. Some of you could even be farmers. Maybe you literally work out in the fields. Maybe you have your own little food garden that you make. Maybe you sell it at a farmer's market. Maybe you're someone who grows like blueberries and then you sell them. But regardless, I feel like everything that you do, it actually comes back tenfold. And it's maybe even something that you don't necessarily expect. Maybe you get into these endeavors and you're like, oh, I'll just kind of see how fly fishing treats me. And then at the end of the week, you're like a fly fishing champion. That's your energy. And maybe even people around you are just sort of like, what the heck's going on? Like, they've never fly fished a day in their life. How is it that they are now literally pro level? And it's just because you're someone who masters these kind of new experiences and these new situations so effortlessly and so easily. And I feel like it's also just your energy. You're open to trying anything. You're open to new experiences. You're open to being very adventurous as well. Now, also with the Rabbit, I feel like you would literally be the perfect parent. I feel like you're nurturing, you're compassionate, you're generous as well. I just really wanted to highlight that. But again, I feel like Spirit is really saying, I feel like you should really stop and smell the roses a little bit more. Enjoy yourself. See how this Rabbit is just kind of taking a break to eat quietly in the dawn of day. And I feel like maybe that is your energy. Like, when you finally do take a breather and you allow yourself to relax and you allow yourself to go with the flow, people feel very drawn towards you and kind of gravitate towards you as well. I feel like they want to come over. They want to talk to you. They want to be in your life, but sometimes you can kind of shy away. And it's not to say that you don't want to be the center of attention or you don't want to be talking, but I think from time to time you really like your solitude, especially after having worked so hard. It could even be that in the morning time you do like a daily ritual. Maybe you drink coffee in the morning or you drink tea. There's something that maybe you drink in the morning that's just kind of your ritual. It could even be that you wash your face with a certain soap in the morning that makes you feel really good. Regardless, I feel like that's also something that makes you very beautiful, and something that people really appreciate about you is the fact that you take time for yourself, and that really helps in regards to law of attraction as well. I feel like those of you that pick this pile, you are master manifestors. You are actively bringing blessings into your life that you have asked for, that you have used affirmations for, that maybe even you have done a vision board for, right? And how beautiful is that? But it's coming in very fast, and that's something that people find incredibly beautiful and incredibly fascinating and unique at the same time, is the fact that you can draw these things in so effortlessly without even having it look like you're breaking a sweat. So going forward onto your next 4 cards, these are your animal messages cards, and these are talking about characteristics, qualities, and traits that make you beautiful. So we have goose, chameleon, Wolverine, and cat. Woohoo! Okay, so right off the bat with Wolverine, oh my gosh, you're a lot tougher than you think you are. So there we go. You know, you're not giving yourself enough credit where credit is due. Pile number 5, you're someone who is absolutely incredible. You are fierce, you are vivacious, you are just extraordinary, you are headstrong, you are someone who can really put yourself out there and apply yourself to whatever craft you are learning at the time. Now also with Wolverine, you know, this is also talking about someone who demands respect, who deserves respect at the same time, because you have worked incredibly hard to get where you are, right? Pile number 5, you have been through your fair shares of challenges, of hard times, of hardships, of disappointments as well. This doesn't just have to be with other people, it could even be with yourself. It could even be not trusting yourself enough throughout the journey and learning how to trust yourself. And that's something that also makes you very beautiful, is the fact that you have stepped into your independence. You have claimed your own self-power and your own self-worth, and that's something that is incredibly beautiful about you, stack number 5. Now with cat, it says it's time to strike out on your own and relinquish your overdependency on others. So there we go. You know, maybe for a long time as well, you relied on your friends and family members a lot, maybe even relied on a romantic partner, and then maybe one day you just kind of realized the only person that's going to make me happy is myself, and I can't be searching outwards for that. I can't be looking for validation from other people to make me happy, right? And that's something that is incredibly beautiful about you, is that you kind of found your power, you stepped into it, and you are never looking back. I feel like from time to time though, you really have a lot of trouble with your throat chakra. The reason why I'm saying this is because my throat keeps closing up in the middle of this reading, and I actually have to pause the reading and I have to center myself, and it's really strange because in the other readings I didn't have that intense of energies, but especially with the backgrounds and the borders all being this deep blue, this is all talking about the throat chakra. Maybe doing some throat chakra cleanses as well with singing bowls on YouTube. I feel like that would be a really wonderful way to be able to start expressing yourself and maybe even getting your thoughts and feelings across, because maybe you are immersing yourself in work, you're immersing yourself in your hobbies and passions, but that's in order to avoid having to have these tough conversations with people, or even to avoid maybe conflict. Maybe you're someone who is extremely non-confrontational, and that's something that also is very beautiful about you, but at the same time, sometimes you have to learn how to put your foot down, and you have to learn how to stand up for yourself as well. And maybe that's something that you are implementing, or that you have implemented over the last few years, and people find that extremely beautiful and attractive about you. Now with chameleon, it says stay in the background and adapt to the situation rather than being conspicuous and attempting to direct the course of events. Exactly. Remember how I was saying earlier that you're someone who isn't manipulative, you're someone who is very honest, you're forthcoming, you're truthful, you know, you're very transparent at the same time. What you see is what you get. You're not going to put on a show for people, you know, you're not going to give them lip service. I think that you're someone who is just very happy with where you are and who you are, so you don't have to prove yourself to people. Maybe that's even why we have the struggle with the throat chakra, because it's like, I don't have to prove myself to people. People don't have to know who I am. They don't have to know what I'm doing. They don't have to know every detail about my life. And maybe that's why you hold back a little bit too. Maybe in the past someone had used that information against you, and maybe you kind of learned how to be a little bit more aloof, or a little bit more quiet, a little bit more more stoic, and that's something that actually makes you very beautiful. Believe it or not, I feel like people really admire that sort of calm, quiet, stoic bravery that you have. I feel like you're incredibly courageous as well, and you very much inspire other people, but I feel like you're definitely someone who is very introspective. I feel like you're someone who likes to be a little bit of a wallflower from time to time. You just like to do your own thing, right? Now, especially with Goose, it says take time to rest and recuperate rather than continuing your striving. You know, maybe you're a little bit of a homebody as well. Maybe you like to spend time at home. Maybe you're a really good cook. I feel like for some of you, you could probably cook like a really mean steak or a really mean like fried potato or something. I don't know. But regardless of whatever it is, I feel like whoever ends up with you in the future, like, wow, really lucky, right? But you're a really great cook. I feel like you love to learn new recipes. You love to learn new things and new ideas in general, maybe even learn new perspectives. It could even be that some of you that pick this pile, you love to have pen pals, and that's something that also makes you very beautiful because you learn about different cultures, you learn about different experiences as well, and you really kind of share that with everyone that you know and everyone that you meet, and that's something that people really find beautiful about you. But make sure that you rest a little bit more. I feel like those that meet you and those that really appreciate you and find you to be beautiful probably are saying, wow, you really do work so hard. You need to take a little bit more time for yourself, right? And maybe that's the only complaint that we have here is I wish that they would pace themselves. I wish that they would relax. I wish that they would take a break. Maybe you're someone who feels like there is always more work to be done, or there's always something else that has to kind of fall into place before you can get to that next level. And Spirit is saying, you know, you are beautiful where you are at. You don't have anything to change. Allow yourself to be present in the moment and don't worry about it. Allow yourself to be open too. So, going on to your next two cards, these are your Animal Totem Tarot cards, and these are talking about your overall energy and what makes you beautiful going forward. So we have the Six of Swords and the King of Cups. Woohoo! Okay, so the Six of Swords is talking all about moving on from hardships, moving on from heartache as well, but keeping all of the wisdom and the lessons that you have learned with it. Again, it's kind of also being a little bit sneaky in this card, not in a bad way. You know, when we think of the word sneaky, we think about, oh, what are they up to? But at the end of the day, I think with the Six of Swords, this is just talking about being very cautious, being a little bit reserved as well, and kind of sticking to yourself. Again, kind of going into that chameleon sort of a wallflower energy and just being whatever it is that someone else might need you to be. I feel like you're someone who is very easy to morph. Like if someone has a bad day and they need a shoulder to cry on, you can morph into that. If someone is maybe being bullied, you can kind of morph into a protector. If you are with someone who is a little bit angry, you can morph into someone who is more consoling and who is more comforting and someone who can calm them down. You know, it's almost like your energy is very malleable, which is also very beautiful about you, Stack 5. With the number 6 is talking about abundance, and I feel like you have an abundance of thoughts. Maybe you're someone who overthinks, maybe you're someone who is a little bit hard on yourself as well, but something that is really beautiful is the fact that after you've overthought everything, after you've put a lot of thought into whatever situation you're going towards, you emerge this King of Cups. You emerge someone who is emotionally stable, emotionally grounded, emotionally mature. You know what it is that you want. You're not going to settle for less. You're a little bit moody, but I feel like at the same time you can control your emotions very easily. I feel like you have a tap on them. I feel like you have a hold on them, if you will. And with that energy of the King of Cups from the Six of Swords, it's saying you have matured, you have moved into this energy of, I am no longer a child. I am no longer someone who is going to maybe even get completely enmeshed with someone to where I am codependent. You know, maybe you're leaving that behind, moving away from codependent cycles and stepping into your independence, but still being very, very affectionate, still being very kind, compassionate, and understanding, very loving. The King of Cups is someone who is incredibly sweet. You know, this is someone that you would want to have as your neighbor, as your friend, as your brother, as your maybe even father, maybe your grandfather. This is just someone that you would want in your life, and this is your energy. You are someone who is a blessing to everyone that you come in contact with, right? Now, also another thing that I want to say is notice how we have a dam here, and the way that the sticks are intricately placed together, they're woven in a way that the water can still pass through effortlessly so it doesn't clog up. And maybe that's also talking about the fact that you have to establish a healthy flow of words, a healthy flow of like kind of getting your thoughts out there as well to the people that you really care about and the people that really matter the most. Because when you kind of block it off and you don't have a good filter, or you don't have a good way of kind of regulating it and getting it out to these people, it becomes bottled up, and it's almost like one day it's just going to break open like a reservoir of water and just pour out everywhere, right? So make sure that you are expressing yourself. Make sure that you are expressing your feelings too. That is incredibly important going forward. And that's something that's going to make you even more beautiful in the days ahead, is you allowing yourself to be open, allowing yourself to be more loving too. Maybe you're someone who would genuinely give someone the shirt off of your back with no expectations, and that's something that's also very beautiful about you. But make sure to speak up. That is incredibly important, especially in regards to your feelings. Notice how there's actually a river down here, so it's almost like once you get it flowing, it's going to be a roaring river. It's going to be beautiful. So allow yourself to be open with your emotions, because that's something that's very beautiful about you. So going on to your next two cards, these are your Secrets of the Mystic Grove Oracle cards, and these are talking about more energies of what makes you beautiful. So we have number 44, Rhythms, and number 12, Celebrate Mystery. Okay, so right off the bat with number 44, Rhythms, the number 44 would be the number 8. It's talking about very fast moving energies, very fast forward as well. Maybe you're someone, again, who very much gets your eye on the prize, and then you never want to back down. You don't want to settle for less. You won't kind of back down until it is accomplished, until you have succeeded. You're someone who is extremely successful as well. Maybe you're someone who has a outdoor business, or maybe you work outdoors, maybe you're a park ranger, maybe you are a professional s'mores maker, whatever it is. I feel like maybe that's something that makes you very beautiful as well. Spirit, again, is talking about stopping and smelling the roses. If you don't do that already, I feel like you should, but I feel like maybe for some of you that pick this pile, that's something that makes you very beautiful. Maybe you also tell other people like, oh, well, I have my alone time when I'm at home with my plants. Maybe some of you have a lot of plants at your house as well. Maybe you love to have a lot of succulents, maybe you have a succulent garden, maybe you keep African violets, or maybe you keep pothos plants. But regardless, I definitely feel like there's this vibe of being connected with nature, being connected with plants and foliage, and everything that's good about being outside as well, especially since we have so many cards. All of our cards actually have borders of green. That is so interesting. So definitely, I feel like you're very connected to earth. It could even be that some of you have, like, I don't know, a tent business or something, or maybe you want to have an outside business. Maybe some of you are paleontologists, you're rock hounders, but you're definitely outside, you're out in nature, and you're accomplishing things. And how beautiful is that? Maybe you're someone who also really appreciates birds, since we have a bird here. Maybe you are a professional birder. Maybe you're someone who works with bugs. I don't remember what that's called. I'm not that smart in that regard with bugs. But with the bug energy as well, this is also talking about the fact that you are someone who is that smart with bugs, right? Maybe you're someone who knows everything there is to know about bugs, about insects, about maybe even how butterflies molt, right? But it was really interesting because maybe you guys make those self-deprecating jokes like I just did now too, because I feel like maybe that is kind of a reflection of your humor, is maybe you kind of deflect too in sort of situations where maybe someone compliments you with something nice, and then you're just kind of like shifting it like, oh, I don't know about that, right? And I feel like that's something people really find amusing or find a little bit funny, maybe even a little bit cute, is that you're incredibly humble, you're down to earth, right? You're not someone who's going to just be flexing on them or, trying to prove yourself to people. Again, going back into that aspect of I have nothing to prove to anyone. Now, going on to number 12, Celebrate Mystery. The number 12 is talking about the number 3, being in harmony, being at peace with yourself, being at harmony with the mind, the body, and the spirit, of them all being at one and kind of merging together, so then that way you can be at peace and you can make very good, kind of well-educated decisions, well-rounded decisions as well. Now, with the number 3, I also kind of think of divine masculine and divine feminine coming into harmony too, and talking about that duality between being very sensitive and sentimental, very spiritual even, but also being very headstrong, being very determined, very dedicated, and maybe even someone who is a little bit blunt or a little bit, maybe could come off a little bit standoffish from time to time, very protective too. I feel like you're incredibly protective of the people that you love. But with number 12, celebrate mystery, I feel like you're just allowing yourself to go with the flow, to have a good time. You're trusting the journey. You're trusting that everything is unfolding the way that it's supposed to in divine timing as well. And that's something that's very beautiful about you. Maybe you're someone who actively talks about divine timing to your friends, to your family members. But I feel like you're someone who always expects the unexpected. You're always looking around each corner like, what's going to happen next? Because you're so excited, because you have that fast forward sort of a moving energy, right? Now, with secrets too, maybe you're someone who is a confidant to a lot of people. People really find it beautiful that you can hold on to secrets, that you're not just going to blab everything to everyone, right? I feel like you have very tight lips. You're not someone who is going to let the cat out of the bag. You know, you're very, very trustworthy. And a lot of people really admire that about you. And the fact that you trust the journey, that you just allow yourself to be taken wherever the universe guides you to, that is something that is incredibly beautiful as well. That is something that is actually reminiscent in the Six of Swords too, because the squirrel, even though this flying squirrel has, I was going to say these wings, but I can't even call them wings, like these skin flaps. Even though the flying squirrel has these skin flaps that will let him to maneuver through these swords, it's still very dangerous. There's still a whole bunch of sharp swords here. Like, that's not an easy feat. He has to trust himself. He has to believe in the fact that he can make it through all these dangerous swords with just his skin flaps, right? And maybe that's you guys' energy, Stack 5, is you have to trust yourself a little bit more. Maybe people find it very beautiful that you're so humble, but they really do want you to believe in yourself. They want you to feel just as excited and proud of yourself as they are. It could even be that some of you kind of have this air of you show confidence to other people. You know, and maybe you're kind of working on your confidence, slowly you're healing it with this yellow citrine, but at the same time, I feel like people are really gravitating towards your glow up and gravitating towards this energy of you becoming more confident. And I feel like people can really pick up on the fact that you are healing those wounds and that you are becoming more empowered and stepping into your own. So going on to your next few cards, these are your Ethereal Visions Tarot cards, and these are talking about more information on what makes you beautiful. So we have the Devil, there we go, the Hierophant, the Eight of Swords, and the Two of Wands. Okay, so right off the bat, some of you might struggle with anxiety, with depression, maybe even with some, maybe literally some codependency with this cat, since we were talking about over-dependency on others. It could be over-dependency on substances. It could be over-dependency on social media as well. That is every bit of an addiction as everything else. Now, I feel like maybe there is just kind of this energy of feeling a little bit down and out, feeling a little bit trapped, but always picking yourself up out from it. Notice the stark difference between the Devil and the Hierophant. It's almost like going from these shadow side energies, going from ego into someone who is very enlightened, someone who is very awakened at the same time, someone who knows their spiritual path, someone who is wanting to uplift others, and someone, again, who doesn't have to prove themselves with the ego. You know, maybe in the past, you were someone who did have to prove yourself. You did have to say, well, I did all this work today, and I did this, and I did that, and I did this. And now you're just sort of in this energy of allow my work to speak for itself. I don't have to tell someone a grocery list of everything that I've done for them in order to be appreciated. They should be able to appreciate me on their own. And that's something that makes you very beautiful. Also, the fact that you can dust yourself off from these tough situations. You can get yourself out of these ruts, and you can get out of these ruts, and you can pick yourself up off the ground. And that's something that makes you very beautiful as well. I feel like you're someone who is learning how to free yourself from all of these worries, from all of these anxieties, and maybe these codependencies too. And that's something that people find incredibly beautiful about you. Now, with the Two of Wands, I feel like, again, you're a very, very good decision maker. I feel like you're someone who can weigh all of your options very smartly and very educatedly. And you're someone who can look off into the future and say, well, this is what I want to go towards. This is what I want to achieve. This is what I aspire to have in the future, and then you go off and you achieve it. Then you go off and you gain these goals, you gain these dreams into your life, and it's almost like they come into fruition because you never give up on them, right? No matter how big your dream is, I feel like you're someone who is always going forward. You're always continuing on this path. Regardless of how tough the going gets, you're always continuing forward, and that's very beautiful. That is incredibly inspirational to everyone that you meet. I think it's very important too that you continue to free yourself from these situations, continue to have an active I don't want to say like mind police, like you have to be your own mind police, but very much that energy, like police your thoughts and your worries and your anxieties and your fears. There's actually a really cool quote that I love where it talks about 90% of your worries and your fears and the things that you really dread are never going to happen. And that's why they're just worries, you know, but allow yourself to go with the flow, allow yourself to see the good side here. And that's something that's very beautiful about you. So going on to your next 4 cards, these are your Crow Tarot cards, and these are talking about characteristics, qualities, and traits that your friends and family members find very beautiful about you as well. So we have the Knight of Swords, the Queen of Pentacles, the Knight of Cups, and the Sun card. Okay, so right off the bat, we have a lot of court cards here. Oh my goodness, 2 knights and a queen. So right off the bat, you're someone who can get the job done. You're someone who gets in there, you get the job done fast, and then you go home. You don't want to waste any time in that regard. And maybe that's even why I was saying at the beginning of this reading that you're someone who is stretched so thinly, because you're constantly on the go. You're constantly doing something. You're constantly helping someone. You're constantly maybe even putting someone else's needs above your own, and that's something that you're breaking out against. But I feel like your friends and family members would genuinely talk about the fact that you are so selfless, that you're very kind, you're very caring. Even though you have this healthy selfishness about you, I feel like it's not to the point where you would completely freeze people out or you would tell people that they have to wing things on their own. I feel like you are very open to helping people. Again, you're very generous, especially with this Queen of Pentacles. You're very humble. You're someone who is kind of an open book to your friends and family members as well. It's just kind of up to them if they want to read it, but you're very honest. You're very truthful and forthcoming, very transparent at the same time. And I feel like you wear your transformations very proudly. Now, with the Knight of Swords and the Knight of Cups, there's a little bit of a duality here because the Knight of Cups can be a little bit slower paced energies as opposed to the Knight of Swords. The Knight of Swords is just zooming. He's going in there. It's like whoosh, right? And with the Knight of Swords, maybe you're really quick to potentially cut people out of your life that no longer serve you. You know, maybe that's even how you're stepping out of these codependencies. That's how you're stepping out of relying on so many people for so long. But it could also just be talking about that for the majority of you. You're someone who is a great conversationalist. They just wish that you would be able to talk a little bit more. You know, it could even be that they're picking up on the fact that you're a little bit reserved or that you feel a little bit hesitant in regards to starting up a conversation, or you feel a little bit hesitant in regards to just kind of letting all your feelings and your thoughts be known. Maybe you're a little bit worried that people are going to judge you, but I feel like your friends and family members really love the fact that not only are you very friendly, there we go, with my slip up, but I feel like it's also talking about the fact that your friends and family members really love and appreciate how sensitive you are and just how closely you wear your heart to your sleeve. I feel like that's something they really admire, and I feel like that's something they find very beautiful, even though you might not always express it. Now, with the Knight of Cups, this is talking about little offers, but also very being romantic, right? I couldn't even find the right wording. For some reason, I'm really struggling with my words in this pile, and I feel like maybe that's something that you guys struggle with. Maybe for some of you that picked this pile, maybe you have a speech impediment that you are actively kind of working with and working on. But regardless, with the Knight of Swords, this is definitely talking about, you know, someone who maybe communication has been a little bit of a block in the past, but you're starting to harness it. You're starting to step into that energy and that power as well. I definitely understand you, right? As someone who has seizures, for a long time I stuttered, so I definitely understand that, and I understand how frustrating that can be, but I feel like that's something that's very beautiful about you. And I feel like people really love the fact that you don't give up. Like, if you make a mistake or you trip over your words, you're just going to keep talking. That's something that's incredibly brilliant about you. And if people are going to judge you on that, let that be a projection on them and not a projection on you. And that goes for everything, not just like stuttering or stumbling over your words. The same goes with, you know, if you make a mistake, if it was just a small mistake, you know, and you own up to it and you say you're sorry, If someone wants to keep being a jerk to you, that's a projection on them. It doesn't have anything to do with you. You've already made your peace with the situation, and you have already been very forthcoming. And maybe that's also something that people find very beautiful about you, is that you say you're sorry very quick, because you don't want to be in this confrontational energy. You just don't want to be fighting. You want everyone to get along. Why can't we be friends, right? Now, with the Queen of Pentacles, again, I feel like with that sort of generous energy, that you're someone. Whoa, look at that. So we have 2 rabbits right off the bat, both white rabbits. That's really interesting. So you're definitely someone who is very creative, someone who's very talented as well, and you're birthing new ideas into existence. Beautiful. You know, maybe the world is your oyster at this point, and your family thinks that you're going to be very successful, very abundant, maybe even rich. Maybe they think you're going to be like rolling in the shmoney, right? But regardless, with the Sun card, you know, and the Knight of Cups, I feel like this is also talking about they see the universe bringing you a bunch of blessings and abundances and happiness as well, and they couldn't feel happier for you. They couldn't feel prouder, because you're someone who genuinely deserves it. And I feel like it really reflects within these cards, and it reflects as well within the Sun. You're someone who is incredibly optimistic. You're positive, you're warm, you're loving, you're open as well. This is the best card you can get in the entire deck, like, honestly. So for this to come out within your friends and family members, it really does say that you're someone who has a lot of recognition from the people that you love. You know, this is also saying that you're very highly thought of, that you're someone who is on the minds of a lot of people. It could even be that you have a lot of followers online. It could even be that you just have a lot of really close friends that like to keep tabs on you. They like to look at your social media. They like to make sure that you're doing fine, that you're safe, that you're healthy, that you're happy, right? And how beautiful is that you have so many people looking after you, and so many people well-wishing you as well, and keeping you in their prayers, keeping you in their thoughts, keeping you in their visions and in their dreams. And maybe that's even what your family would want to say to you too. Like, this is a completely different topic, but I feel like they would want to say, like, they see so much potential and so much opportunity and so much happiness within you. And it's almost like they couldn't even put to words how much you genuinely mean to them. And then they wish that they could. They wish that they could put it in the words. They wish that they could put it, you know, maybe in front of you. They wish that they could show you every single day, because it almost feels like a holiday every day that you are in their life. And maybe that's the overall energy of everyone that you meet. And that's something that's also very beautiful about you, is it just feels like a celebration when you're around. It feels like a good time. It feels like all is right in the world. And maybe that's why people really enjoy your presence. That's why people want you around a little bit more, because you bring that harmony to themselves. You bring that harmony to everyone that you meet. So going on to your next 5 cards, these are going to be your Yuval More Tarot cards, and these are talking about what is beautiful about you that you might not necessarily expect. So we have the 10 of Pentacles, the Fool card, the 2 of Cups, the King of Pentacles, and the King of Swords. Okay, so for some of you, it could literally be talking about how you might think that talking is not your strong suit, but your friends and family members and the people around you are literally saying, it is though, right? You're someone who could literally talk anyone's ear off. It could even be that you have some air placements, Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius. It doesn't have to be, but it could also be talking about the fact that you can make friends anywhere you go, right? Let's say that you travel to Timbuktu tomorrow. Let's say you travel to India. Let's say you travel to Sweden. You could make friends in all those places easily right off the bat. And it's just because of the fact that you are so fun-loving, you are so non-confrontational, and you're so sweet. I feel like you just have such a gentle aura and a gentle soul about you that everyone that comes into contact wants to be your friend. They want to be something of meaning to you, and something that, you know, maybe lasts a long time. Maybe a lot of people come into your life and want to stay long term because of the fact that they see you as someone who is incredibly successful, someone who is very well put together too, that you have all of your ducks in a row, that there's really no worries going on here. Honestly, all of these cards are very positive, they're very beautiful, and that's how people see you. You're just beautiful all over, you know, all in general. And maybe that's something that's a little surprising for those of you that pick this pile, because maybe you're saying to yourself, well, I don't really have anything together right now. I'm still working on myself, but people see you as someone who's incredibly put together. Look at him. He doesn't even need shoes. Like, he's so confident in himself. He has his stinky hobbit feet out right there on that bull statue, and he doesn't even care. And I feel like maybe that's your energy. Maybe you have this like nonchalant, confident, like self-empowerment sort of an energy where it's like, well, I'm going to go out, I'm going to to make this money now, bye. You know, and everyone just kind of watches you go in awe and amazement and fascination in the fact that you can just kind of put yourself out there and achieve this next goal in your life. People see you as someone who's incredibly driven as well, that there's nothing that you can't do, especially if you set your mind to it. For some of you, you might be working literally in the medical field. You could be working as a CNA, as a doctor, as an ear doctor, a nose doctor, maybe literally a foot doctor. Hey, I don't know. But going forward, hey, maybe even like, I was gonna say a pediatrician and I meant a foot doctor. What is the foot? I don't know, but hey, maybe a pediatrician and a foot doctor. So there you go. But with the 10 of Pentacles, this is definitely talking about how you're someone who is the full package. You're happily ever after, but in a very successful way as well. It's almost like you could live very comfortably. You always have enough. You could go out to the movies every night this week and still have enough money to be able to, you know, take care of yourself and pay your bills. And that's something that people find very beautiful about you and very admirable, is the fact that you take care of your responsibilities. You're someone who is incredibly mature. Honestly, we don't have any pages here. How amazing is that? We have no pages, and this is beautiful. This is how you're showing up. You know, in the past, you know, look, your family members see you as someone who, you know, is still doing some growing. They're slowly leveling up, but then like the general population and spirit in the universe is like bam, maturity, wisdom, like experience. And that's how you're showing up. It could even be that you are someone who is wise beyond your years, and that's something that you have been told growing up. And that's something that also people find very beautiful about you. But you're very, very well read with all of these books at the bottom too. I feel like maybe for some of you, you could even be dog trainers. I just wanted to throw that out there since we do have so many books down here. Now, also with the Fool card, you're someone who is incredibly adventurous. So even though you have achieved all of these successes and these comforts in life, you're someone who isn't quite done yet. You know, you're not someone who has completely succeeded in gaining all that you have wanted in life. I feel like there's still a little bit more that you want to acquire going forward. And that's something that also makes you very beautiful, is that you are a go-getter and you're a goal setter. How amazing is that, right? So going on to your last few cards, these are your Enchanted Tarot cards, and these are talking about closing energies on what makes you beautiful. So we have the Emperor card, the Six of Wands, the Star, the King of Hearts, and the Four of Swords. Okay, perfect. So right off the bat with the Four of Swords, you're someone who's incredibly meditative, you're reflective. I feel like you take time for yourself. You allow yourself to really ruminate on things before you kind of go and jump into an action, and that's something that people really love about you. I also feel like something that makes you beautiful is that you don't just say the first thing that comes to your mind. Maybe that's even why we have the King of Cups here. We have two King of Cups though, but it's talking about that regulation. You know, I feel like you're someone who regulates the thoughts that come to your mind before you say it. You're not someone who is just going to say something as you're frustrated or to say something as you're mad. I feel like that's just not something that you're going to do. You're very level-headed in that regard, and you really take your time in regards to what you're going to say to someone. But it's because you're in this Emperor energy. You know, you're someone who is all of the kings combined. You're someone who's incredibly mature. You're someone who is very logical but very emotionally mature at the same time. You know what it is that you want out of a partnership, out of career, out of life in general, out of family matters too. I feel like you're someone who is just a complete package regardless of male or female energies. You know, it could even be that you are more in your divine masculine. It could even be that you're someone who, that is something that's very beautiful about you too, is that you don't mind taking on a more masculine role. You don't mind kind of putting your hair back and putting your sleeves up and really getting some elbow grease on you. That's not something that bothers you at all, right? Now, also with the King of Cups, again, you're someone who is incredibly affectionate. You're very caring. You're very loving, understanding, and wonderful. Wunderbar, right? Now, also with the King of Hearts, this is talking about someone who, again, with the moodiness, but it's a very, very good thing, because I feel like you temper your emotions for other people too, but that also shows other people how to temper their emotions. It could even be that for some of you, since we do have that Devil card, it could be that maybe some of you struggle with anger issues, but I feel like that's something that maybe you're working on. Maybe you're working on your temper. You're working on, again, regulating your thoughts and ideas before it kind of goes out there, and maybe that's even why you tend to be a little bit quiet or a little bit reclusive from time to time, because you would rather not just kind of spew out all of those thoughts out of nowhere. You want to think on it first. You want to reflect on it first before you get it out there into the universe. Now, with number 17, the star, as well, this is talking about the fact that you're someone who is incredibly helpful. It is also talking about the fact that you are a wish come true to your friends and family members and everyone that comes into your life. The star is also a very good omen, so it could even be that when you come into certain people's lives, they feel like you're a very good omen. They feel like you are their good luck charm, so to speak, especially since we have a rabbit here, lucky rabbit's foot, right? Now, with the Six of Wands, this is talking about recognition and the fact that you are someone who is revered within your community, within your social circles as well. I feel like you're someone who is very, very passionate about what you do, and there's nothing that's going to stop you, and that's also something that's really, really beautiful. Now, the Six of Wands is also talking about the fact that you can handle a tough situation very easily. Remember the old saying, if you can't handle the heat, get out of the kitchen? I feel like you're someone who handles the heat very, very well. You would thrive in the kitchen, right? Now, another thing that is really standing out to me is all the mountain imagery in all of the cards too. Like, there are a lot of mountains here, a lot of mountains. So maybe you live near the mountains, maybe you've just had a lot to overcome within your life. You know, here you are even looking out over the mountains that you have conquered, that you have climbed, right? So it's definitely this energy of you have had a whole bunch of lessons that you've had to learn, that you've had to overcome, but you've done it graciously and you've done it beautifully. And the universe is so proud of you, right? But that's what makes you beautiful, is the fact that you can stand on your own 2 feet, the fact that you always find hope in every situation, you know, the fact that you can kind of stand the heat in the kitchen too. That's something that people find very admirable about you. So I hope that you enjoyed this stack 5. Definitely let me know in the comments down below if this resonated. Let me know how you enjoyed it. I love you guys' comments so much. I read every single one and it makes my day so much better. I hope that you guys are doing amazing. Make sure to leave a like if you enjoyed this, and also hit subscribe if you have not already, and also that little bell icon to be notified every time that I upload a brand new video. And yeah, I will leave all of the links in the description box down below to personal readings, all the crafts that I do, and I will also leave all the names to the cards that I used in this video. So I hope that you enjoyed this. Again, stack 5, thank you for watching this, and I hope to see you in the next reading. Bye!